Hello everyone, Omni-sensei here with What If I Was Reborn as Superman, Man of Steel, Part 2. If you enjoy this content, please smash the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to check out the original story linked in the description. I hope you enjoy listening to it.
Superman POV. I close my eyes and listen to the ocean waves crashing onto each other. This sound calms me down and lets my mind wander like it was flowing. When I want to get away from stuff or just to think something through, I come here in the Atlantic Ocean, in the middle of nowhere. I just sit above the water surface, cross-legged, and listen to the waves. I am 12 years old now. Much has happened over these 2 years. Lana and school are still the same. I have more friends now, and oddly, I haven't still faced any kind of bullying. They are all close-knitted, nice small-town people. In the martial arts training, now mostly me and Sandra came up with new methods and styles to utilize our strength better. Carolyn, though unable to keep up with us, cheer us both on. On the first night while eating dinner, Dinah told us about her life. After that day, though, Dinah and Selena argued a lot. I could see that they had gotten close. I told Selena that she could tell her my secret and left them to go home that night. The next time on my visit, Selena introduced me to her friend, a redhead named Pamela Isley, who has recently started living with her relatives in Gotham. She wasn't thrilled to meet me, which I knew why, and kept staring at the flowers in her backyard the whole conversation. I got her attention when I told her that I am gonna let Selena buy a house in the outskirts of Gotham which recently went on sale, and it was being sold at a cheap price. She knew that it must be her old house. Though a bit sad, she told Selena that after she buys it, she would love to visit her house sometimes. I already knew getting near Pamela, the future poison ivy, won't be easy. But I have plenty of time. After Selena will sell the artifacts in batches, I wanted them to get a permanent place from that money. And as Selena was not ready to leave Gotham yet, the house in the outskirts, though a bit far, was the best place to buy. I started training both Dinah and Selena in martial arts. Maybe I should introduce them to the sisters in the future. I have befriended a girl named Lena, who lives in a private orphanage in Metropolis. We occasionally meet in the garden nearby her orphanage. She has no idea who her real parents are, or who funds her studies and her stay in this private lavish orphanage, but she considers me her one true friend over time. She will never know that she is going to inherit the multi-million-dollar LexCorp because of me, but that will take some time as I need to prepare and perfect my plan over the next 2 years. As that's when Lena would be officially adopted into the Luthor family. The thing which I am most proud of is my magical study. I visited the Zatara mansion, which was outside of San Francisco City, the House of Mystery or the House of Secret. It looked just like an old mansion with nothing noteworthy. But the amount of myth connected to this place is numerous. But with John here, I won't be allowed to roam this place as I please. Even through my scans, it looked just like an old house. John welcomed me, saying Zatanna still had to complete her homework. I have talked with her on the phone, and she complained how John has started increasing her magical studies. For the magic test, I was asked to repeat the chant Etatival and concentrate on myself. I felt the magic, which was invisible until now, move, and I started hovering above the ground. As I broke my concentration, the magic went back in my body invisible again, and I came back on the ground. John was impressed and said that maybe my alien species was very talented in magic. He gave me books on magic theories and his personal notes, which he told me to remember from front to back and back to front. After which, I had to learn many different languages and read books in that language. John said magic learning is a long process and there are no shortcuts. Well, me and Zatanna are almost cheats in magic, so I wasn't worried. From that day onwards, I have learned so much more daily now. I can at least control the magic to not leak out of the amulet until I need it. Today they will be returning from a show, and Zatanna told me on the phone that her father is going to bring home a new kid who will learn the art of escaping from him. I was just mentally preparing myself to meet Bruce once again after 4 years. This will be my best chance to befriend him. I knew that Bruce was a good actor, but this was on a whole different level. I saw a young boy looking fit for his age, same black hair and black eyes, but with a bright smile on his face, introducing himself enthusiastically as Gary. I don't know why, but Zatanna got even more clingy with him around. After some days she even asked me who is my closest friend, that Gary guy or her. Maybe I have been spending a bit too much time with Gary lately, making her jealous. But I was seriously surprised. He looked too different from that small kid crying in the alley. And he looked different from the Batman I have read too. He was dedicated to studying the escape art from John, was friendly to us both, and even laughed while playing games with us. How can someone fake it this much? And even when we were not around, he never broke his character. Only when Zatanna asked about his parents, could I see a bit of gloom on his face. One day while playing around the house, Zatanna stumbled onto a door which we haven't seen before. I remember every inch of the manor, so I can say that there was definitely not a door on this wall. It was a wooden door, with a golden boundary, and a golden handle, but it looked ancient. After scanning inside to see what's behind the door, I asked Gary to stay out and keep a lookout for John. Zatanna gave me a questioning look, still she accepted my decision. Gary or Bruce looked at me and Zatanna shrugged his shoulders and stayed back. We both opened the door to look at a massive circular library, which was too big for this mansion. Zatanna excitedly went in fast. I told Bruce to shout if John came and closed the door. I knew what this was. I was searching for this place from the start. This is the magical library of the House of Secrets, containing immense magical knowledge. What John taught us before could only be considered general magic. If I wanted to be very good at magic or make my custom spells, only this library could help me. After 2 years I could use the amulet freely and do magic with just a thought, as now I could sense magic. And the amulet gave me incredible control over it. But still, without a spell, the magic was too crude. And it wasn't that powerful, but it did provide me with versatility. I know the amulet is much more powerful than this, and that's why I know that I still haven't become magically powerful. Zatanna showed me the different magical artifacts, which were placed around the desks. But I reminded her not to touch them, as they could be cursed. After a while John came, but when he saw that Gary hadn't come inside, he just took him away. I hope he won't wipe his memory, as he saw nothing. I and Zatanna stayed in the library reading different books. As Zatanna now knew about me being an alien, I used my super speed without reserve. That's when I found the 2 spells which I was always looking for. The first one was how to make your own personal dimensional storage. It needed a lot of magic, which I had, but still maybe I should ask Zatanna's help on this one. The second was to make a custom magical barrier which can passively screen out the objects which you want. But this spell would need a very low but constant magic supply. It took me 3 days to completely scan the library books. I did find a ritual which would help me a lot, but it won't come into use anytime soon. We did meet Gary again, but he said that his training is completed and he is leaving. I was glad that John did not wipe his memory of us. We said our goodbyes. I went ahead and hugged him and spoke very quietly in his ear that, "We will meet soon, Bruce." There was not even a reaction from him, like he did not even hear anything. He just smiled and waved goodbye. Zatanna had no big reaction to him leaving. She was just jealous of how fast I could read and how I could remember and understand everything with a glance. I placated the big miss by explaining that now that I know this many spells, rituals and knowledge, I can help her better. I intentionally did not let her read any book about Homo Magi, as it would be dangerous for her to know about them right now. Leaving magic aside, one more thing was keeping me up at night. Planning the accidental death of Lex Luthor. You can say that the most dangerous superpower Lex Luthor has or will have is his genius intellect. I am 14 right now and have observed him for the last 2 years. And I must say that he is a genius both in business and in scientific field. I have seen him argue and win against professors with PhDs in their fields. I have seen him make allies with other business giants when he doesn't even have the company yet. I have seen him get beaten by his father for his blatant disrespect for him. I have seen him beat his own maids for the smallest mistakes. So I have seen many sides to him. Still, it doesn't diminish my will to make him disappear, it only strengthens it. His father, Alexander Luthor Sr., made LexCorp from nothing to what it is now. The industry started from the petrochemical and heavy machine business. It even has a factory in Kansas. His father believed in the motto "offense wins the game," and hence he hasn't made many friends in the business circle. He loved his wife, and they had named the company after his first-to-be-born son Lex. But she died during childbirth, and Alexander became a changed man. Lena was born in the same year from Alexander's love affair. She was sent to an orphanage arranged by him. As Lex aged, his father's hatred for this son who took his love from him also grew. For him, though Lex was very intelligent, he always made him feel like he was beneath him. Alexander had started grooming Lena behind the scenes so she could take control of this corporation instead of his egoistic son. This year, Alexander officially adopted Lena and brought her to his house. Lex welcomed his sister, which he always knew about, and had no problem accepting her, as he had made plans to inherit the company from way before. Lena and I came even closer after she got adopted. She did not take a liking to her new father, who was always so strict with her, and kept teaching her how to crush all the opposition. She did not like her brother too, who though kept smiling at her, never even looked at her properly. Although she got a family, it wasn't what she dreamed about. It was the day after she got adopted. She came back to her orphanage in a car saying she forgot some things there. She snuck out and met me in the agreed place at the nearby garden. As soon as she saw me, she hugged me, and she kissed me passionately, after which she told how much she missed me, even if we had seen each other the day before. The new house, new people, and environment felt taxing to her. She told me this was her first kiss and asked if I liked her. I replied yes, but we are too small to date right now. She took it as me being shy. I haven't told her about me being an alien, and we haven't met after that day, as I had things to prepare. Lex Luthor is dangerous because of his future obsession over Superman. Me in this case. He will start envying me, loathing me, of how an alien can bring hope to this world's humankind. Lex will start hating how inferior I make him feel. He will make it his mission to rid the world of my presence and dedicate his entirety for my destruction. Even if he does by chance eventually become good, the amount of damage he has done will be impossible to undo. Bizarro, Doomsday, 5U-93 R-Pill, Virus X, Superboy, his warsuit, Kryptonite ring, his never-ending schemes involving the League of Villains. All this would never happen if I make him disappear. Right now he doesn't even know about me. For him, his biggest enemy is his dad, and his loyal subordinates that want to hand the company to Lena. I had waited for a perfect chance, and it came when Lex boarded the chartered plane which was meant for his father, to steal from him an important business deal with a major airline company in Dayton. He must have been wanting to increase his chips for the company takeover, not knowing that his father will die anyway naturally in the next 2 years. He comes down from the plane, takes the car which was meant for his father from his bodyguards, and drives to the resort where the deal will take place, alone. On his way up the mountain road, Lex drives fast as he always does, confident in his driving skills. But he doesn't know I am looking at him from afar. As a sharp turn comes, I close my eyes and use my connection to the amulet, and think of what I want the magic to do. Lex POV. Lex, seeing the road ahead, tries to turn the steering wheel to the right, but he finds it stuck and not moving. He tried the brakes, but couldn't move it down an inch. Then thinking fast, he tries to open the door in his seatbelt, but nothing opens. Everything he does is useless. As he sees his car nearing the cliff edge, he tries to break the side glass, but it feels like he is hitting rubber. Nothing he does is working and can see his death closing in. Superman POV. I see the car leaving the ground and falling straight from the cliff. I see him still struggling and trying to open his suitcase. I know that there is a pill inside it, named Miraclo. It was made by Rex Tyler, a 40-year-old genius, now just a retired chemist. LexCorp took over the old Bannerman chemicals, and Lex found this drug in an abandoned superhuman project. It gives you an hour of superhuman abilities, after which you would become weak for an extended period of time. It does come with a lot of other limitations. One of them being, it only be able to work on the inventor, as he was the only human test subject recorded. The other being addiction to the drug. Lex was able to get the only remaining pill from the project 2 days prior, and he had kept it in his bag with him. Venom, the drug Bane uses, will be developed as a variant based on this Miraclo drug in the future. I see him try and fail to open his suitcase. He curls up trying to protect his bald head with his hands and knees. He must be hoping that the safety bags will maybe save him. Or maybe he figured out that he cannot count on the safety bags to activate, seeing how unresponsive the car had become. He must be thinking of reasons this could happen, or the person responsible. There must be countless thoughts going on in his genius mind at the end of his life. But for me, it doesn't matter what he was thinking. As soon as I saw the car crash into the rocks below, I concentrated on the fuel tank in the car, and spoke the magic word. Idolpexy. I see the car exploding in flames starting from the rear. I see him getting burned alive, still stuck to the seatbelt with his hand and leg crushed by the rock. He already lost his consciousness because of the impact. I protect the pill with my magic, inside the burning suitcase, so that it doesn't go near him. I see his life go away, and his presence vanishing. I also see his organs and lungs melting, and his heart stopping. Atatival lip. Autem. I see the pill getting out of the now destroyed car, which is still burning and coming towards me. Even after seeing him die, I still go on. Arafenrubthgerb. 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 The fire gets huge, and engulfs the whole car. Even the surrounding rocks start melting to lava. I take the pill in my hands and observe his skin melting, and then his skeleton melting, with even the metal of the car melting. And at last, when I can't even see a cell of him left intact with my newly acquired microscopic vision, I stop providing magic to the fire. I just stand there and watch as the fire diminishes and disappears. I see a husk of black square which looks like scrap metal and black rocks around, which are the cooled down lava. I recheck the scene 2 more times just to make sure. When I am done, I close my eyes for a second and see the face of the bald man melting, looking at me with his hollow skeleton eyes. Goodbye, Lex Luthor. I just open my eyes, feeling mentally tired, and leave the scene to go home. As I fly away, I remember the various pain in the beings who can just bring him back from another world. I will have to fix that problem in the future too. But for now, I just wanted to sit outside my house and watch the farm, watch the crops waving to and fro in the wind, and not think about anything else. I go back home and do just that. In the evening, as Mom came back from work, I hugged her tightly and just buried my face in her bosom. She kept asking what happened. I just said that I missed her and dragged her to my bed, where I made her lay beside me, and I hugged her closely and closed my eyes, falling asleep. I woke up in the middle of the night, from the nightmare of Luthor, with a burning body asking me what he did wrong. I see my parents still asleep in their bed. Not wanting to wake them up, I go out silently and fly outside Gotham to Kat's place. I see Selina and Dinah in their pajamas, still awake and watching some movie on TV. They are surprised to see me in the middle of the night. Before they say something, I turn the TV and lights off, grab both of them, open the bedroom door, and crash with them on the bed lightly. Understanding what happened, they both start struggling and asking to let them go. Dinah even tried to bite my shoulder. I give them both a peck on the lips and nestle them closer to me and speak gently to just hold me close, please. They see my mood and quiet down. Looking at each other, they get comfortable, and I go to sleep again. I woke up to a news broadcast of how the son of the millionaire Alexander of the LexCorp Industries died in what is believed to be a horrible accident. I go to the kitchen, where I see Selina wearing an apron and making an omelet. She had her hair up and I could see her long white neck. I hug her from behind, kissing her neck. Looks like someone's woken up. You can go sit at the table and I will bring your breakfast over. She looks back at me and gives me a kiss. You are the best. I pat her lightly and sit at the table looking at the news. Dinah seems to be training outside right now. The news says the investigation is ongoing, but apparently some early sources say that this may be an intended attack on Alexander Sr., the owner and CEO of Lex Industries. According to their sources, the car may have been tampered with, and there may even have been a bomb inside it, seeing the crash site. The car was supposed to be for his father, and Lex was not supposed to be the one driving. I think someone wanted to kill his father, and he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Selina keeps the plate with an omelet and a cup of coffee in front of me. I just smile at her and thank her. So you gonna tell me what last night was all about? She sits across from me and asks. Nothing. I just need to be close to someone and clear my head a bit. That bad, huh? Tell you what. You have holidays going on at school, right? Why don't me and you go somewhere for the day? I have nothing to do today anyways. I think for a bit, a vacation sounds nice. What about Dinah? She can stay home alone for the day, and either way she has not yet completed reading those books you told her to read, so she can't come. Okay, sure. I know a nice quiet place we could go to. Let me call it home first. I finished my breakfast and I picked up the landline and called home. Hi, Mom. Yes, I am fine. No, I am not. Just saying that. I was just missing a friend of mine, so I went to her house. Yes, in the middle of the night. Yes, you could say that she is my girlfriend. The Gotham one I talked to you about. No, the other one. No, I am not dumping or cheating on Lana. Okay, Mom, listen. I will stay at her place for the day. No, we will just play some video games. I will probably come back tomorrow. No, I don't have extra clothes, but I will manage. Yes, I am really. Okay, Mom. Okay, bye. Love you. I end the call. So you told your mom about me, and who is this Lana? Selina asks from behind me. I knew already that she was listening in secretly. Yep. I told you she invited you to dinner. Okay, let me go and buy some things for the trip. I go out avoiding Selina's questions. I correct Dinah's forms a bit. She goes on to ask if I was okay now. I reply yes and remind her to complete reading the books. I bought some stuff from some shops and kept it in my dimensional storage. I came back and told Selina that we are ready to go. She asked if she needed to bring anything. I just took her hand and said goodbye to a grumpy Dinah, who said that she will complete her homework afterward. Just let her come. I was almost gonna say yes, seeing her cute grumpy face, but Selina said a straight no and told her to even do the laundry today. Before they both start their cat fight again, I just take Selina away from there. While in the air, hugging me closely, Selina looks me in the eye and asks, "Where are we going?" I just gave her a mysterious smile. We crossed the land, and in the middle of the ocean, I stopped at an uninhabited island. Selena left me and went near the water, and smiled back happily at me. You can see through the water. It is so clean. She takes a deep breath and looks around the island, the water, the coconut trees. It smells so fresh here. Nothing like Gotham. She starts taking her clothes off, and I see a black lace bikini tightly hugging her perfect body. I had told her before going for shopping that we may go to a beach, but this is wow. She had grown so much over the years, and in the right places too. I too take off my shirt and pants, while wearing the boxers I already bought at the store. I set up a beach tent from my storage. Take out other supplies like a beach mat, a sand stand, even a cooler with cold drinks and beer in it. Seeing me set up stuff, she goes in the water for a swim. I sit in my lounge chair and wear sunglasses. Not that I need it, but I bought them, so why not? I call her to come back and let me apply sunscreen for her first. I see her wet hot body getting out of the water and coming towards me. I could see water droplets still on her flat-toned belly. Seeing the sun shine on her, I could see all her curves perfectly. She came near me, and seeing the outline of my boxers gave me the stink eye. She was going to take the towel for drying herself, but I took it from her hands and told her to lie down on the mat. Seeing how I was eyeing her body, she giggled a bit and laid down. Seeing her lying there on her stomach, I gulped a bit. I sat beside her and cleaned her body patiently with the towel, patiently removing all the sand and water from every part of her body. After that, I rubbed sunscreen on her whole body, even going as far as removing her bikini so that I can apply it properly. After a while, we calmed down and started talking. I was lying on the lounge chair, and she was lying on me. She just watched the ocean and kept asking me questions. She asked me about my parents, about my planet, about my original parents, about my school, about Lena, about Dinah, about my martial arts study, about magic, about my dreams, about other girls. She asked about everything. Yet I did not tell her everything. I trusted her, but she wasn't powerful enough to protect some of that information, not yet. She just listened to me quietly. Even when I answered her questions about the other girls, I too asked about her life, how her sister was doing, her plans, her dreams. She was very vague about the answers, but I guessed that she had a plan in mind, so I did not press her. As evening came, we went into the ocean for a swim and played around, mostly kissing and grinding against each other. As we came out, she and I both wiped each other off, and before I knew it, we were both naked, and she was sitting on top of me. Do you know, Clark? I have seen my mom's dead body lying in a pool of her own blood, in the bathtub, she said, looking in my eyes, speaking as if she wasn't talking about herself. I have seen my dad's dead body too, lying on the ground surrounded by alcohol. I take her in my arms despite her protests and rub her back rhythmically. My sister has a new family now, Clark, she says, as I feel her sobbing a bit, and teardrops fall on my shoulder. When I had nothing, I met you, Clark. You made me feel that maybe life is not so bad after all. That maybe I can connect with someone else other than cats. That maybe I have someone who won't leave me alone in this world. I hold her head in the moonlight and make her look at me and wipe her tears away from her beautiful face. I know that you have other girls you like. I know that you are very powerful and strong. You can even fly and are incredibly smart too. I know that in the future you will do great things. And I also know that I am just an ordinary girl who has no superpower. I have lived my life as a thief living of the streets. I had no dreams, no big plan, as life was just survival. But in the last few years, having you by my side, I can't imagine my life without you. She bends down and starts kissing me. I reciprocate. And I can taste her salty tears mixed with her kiss, making me feel bitter of how I could let her cry. I didn't fall into this world on a spaceship. I don't know how to do magic. I don't know martial arts much. I know that I won't be able to monopolize you. So the only thing I can do to make sure that you don't ever leave me alone is to give my everything to you. She says, no tears coming out of her eyes and looking at me tenderly with care. I kiss her madly for almost a minute. As I break away, I could see her being out of breath. I look at the hottest scene of both of my lives. Selena had moist eyes and red face, still looking at me intently. I fixed a strand of hair from her face. I could never leave you, Selena. I don't care about your past. You are a part of my life. You are my own lovely cat, and I am never letting you go. I love you, Clark. I am yours from now on. So please take care of me. She looks at me teary-eyed. I love you too, Selena, I said as I kissed her. I woke up in the morning, flew away and bought her favorite burgers from Big Belly Burger and some milk, as she would be craving a lot of food in the morning. I came back to see her woken up and raiding the cooler for something to drink. Seeing me come back with food, she kissed me and started devouring the burgers. I just sat beside her and watched her patiently. I also ate a burger and can tell that the burgers were definitely way better than MC Donald of my previous world. I could see why there was such a craze about them. Maybe I should buy the chain in the future and further expand it. After breakfast, we went for another swim, only naked this time, and I got to know that water does make the experience more surreal while doing it. We got back at almost noon. I dropped her off and could see that Dinah was still pissed at us and refused to talk to me. I kissed Kat in front of a shocked Dinah and gave her a hug, ignoring her protest, promising that we would go on another trip soon, but she has to completely read the already bought books first. I came back home seeing that Mom and Dad were gonna have lunch. I joined them. Mom asked endless questions. I answered some, but still at the end I had to make her promise that I would bring both the girls home once, for dinner. Mom sent me out for grocery shopping and told me to ride the bicycle there, as a punishment for going out of the house at night without announcing and making them worry. I accepted it silently, and went to the supermarket in the town on the bicycle. As I was browsing, I could see Chloe Sullivan coming towards the market. I knew that she moved here from Metropolis 3 days ago and was planning to meet her as Smallville High School started. But meeting before is fine too. I see her coming in, clearly trying to act that she wasn't new to this shop. I approached her. She was medium build with shoulder-length blonde hair and blue-green eyes. "Hey, hi, I am Clark. Are you new here? As I haven't seen anyone as cute as you around." I offered her a handshake. She stutters to answer yes while holding my hand, clearly flattered from my compliment. After which she goes on to introduce herself, and that was just the start. Apparently Chloe wasn't shy at all. We kept talking even after we both finished our shopping. She was excited to hear that we would both be in the same class. After which I showed her around the town and even took her to my farmhouse. She had a very spunky personality, kinda like Dinah, just way more friendly. I really enjoyed talking with her, and even Mom and Dad liked her. She kept talking about how great she is with computers and hacking, and even told me that she could teach me if I wanted to, which I agreed to. She asked me if I would like to come to her house tomorrow. I replied that I would love to. When we were in my room, she asked me if there was anything supernatural here in Smallville, as she loved mysteries. Suddenly I got very close to her, and practically made our lips touch. I looked into her eyes and told her that I am the only supernatural thing in Smallville, so she better stay very close to me, and then I back off acting like it never happened. She got an incredibly flushed red face. I could see that her nipples were erect, and she was a little wet. She got excited from what just happened. She said that she was getting late for home and rushed out of the house. I called Lana's home and asked if she would come out with me for a movie. She enthusiastically agreed. While we were watching a movie, in the dark, in the corner seats, Lana was sitting in my seat on my lap. Lana had a hand covering her mouth and another in my hair. After she comes, I kiss her, and she helps me with my issue with her hand. She wipes everything off with the tissue papers she brought. What a thoughtful girlfriend I have. After we got decent, I played with her hair while telling her that I met another blonde girl today. I go on to tell her about Chloe and how I showed her around the town and even my house, and that she would love meeting her when the school starts. Lana silently listens, but I could almost feel her becoming more jealous as the conversation goes on. But she doesn't ask me directly if I like her, as she knows how nice I can be to people. And maybe it's just her overthinking. I kiss her again, and my dishonest hands find themselves inside her shirt again, feeling the softness. I go to sleep and think about last night, after which I start thinking about all the girls in my life right now. As I think about Zatanna, my hand goes to the amulet, remembering how we made my own personal storage, and how convenient it made things for me. To make a dimensional storage, you need to do specific rituals and enchant the item with magic, and it needs immense magic power which will directly correlate to its size, and we would need substantially finer control over magic. Magic I had enough, but I have to say, Zatanna had way better magic control than me, and over the years she has gotten even better. When I told her what I was gonna do, she agreed to help me on one condition, that I had to make one for her too. Well, her dad would have made one for her eventually, but I agreed anyway. Ideally, you can choose any object as the medium to your personal mini-dimension, or the key to it, if you will. I chose my amulet as the temporary one. I have a better object in mind for the future. She had to use all my magic freely, technically amulet's magic, but she doesn't need to know that yet, and you need a certain amount of trust to use others' magic or else it could go horribly wrong. I had to take off my shirt, and she stuck close to me, almost pasting on my bare chest, saying close contact will make it easier. I didn't argue. She created a complex pattern in the air with my magic which took almost 3 hours even for her. In the end, she grabbed the pattern from the air which made it smaller, almost palm size. She pasted it on the back of the amulet, not on the gem, as I did not want to mess with the magic source. When asked what this amulet was, and why could she sense such magic power from it, I told her it was with me when I came to this planet. It needed a drop of my blood, which I already prepared before. I had to control my bioelectrical aura for creating a gap and still had to use my heat vision. I could see that my blood was just simple red-colored looking, not different from humans. Not that I wanted to donate blood or something. I took the drop of blood with my magic and kept it in a test tube with me. The wound closed almost instantly. I felt just a sting from the laser, mainly because I didn't want to hurt myself. I dropped the blood on the back of the amulet, and it flashed red for a second, which marked this pattern with my blood, making it accessible to only me. I could now even move this pattern to some other object. But I will have to empty the space before doing it, as it can create some fluctuations within. To open the bag, the key should be in touch with my body or magic, and I will have to use the spell, Igarat's Nepo, and imagine the size of the round portal opening wherever I want. I cannot place living things in it, though it creates an almost time-static field inside so I can stock up on food without worrying about expiry or getting cold or hot. To take items out, I open the portal and thrust my hand in, imagining the stuff I want to take out from inside. To close the portal, Igarat's Isulk spell is used. After some days we created one for Zatanna too, the key for which was just like her father's, a black magician's hat. Thinking about these things I go to sleep. Next day I visited Chloe's house, meeting her father, who is a very friendly guy. I can see where Chloe gets her personality from and why she is such a tomboy. I knew from her that her divorced mother was in the mental asylum right now. I could do something to help, but not yet. Maybe in the future. We had fun at her house. She seemed to forget all about tomorrow, and enthusiastically showed me everything from her photos, to her computer, to her hacking skills, to her privately written articles. I went back home and got a call from Lena saying that she wants to meet. In the evening we met at the same place. I could see that Lena is very good at organizing these secret meetings, as we haven't been caught yet. I meet her, and she enthusiastically hugs and kisses me. Clearly she has not forgotten our last meeting. I ask her how she is coping with the news of Lex's death. She says that she was shocked, but she didn't know him that well, and his father's cursing of how this was all his enemy companies doing to kill him did not help. She asked me shyly if we could be considered dating now. I look at the brown-haired, beautiful girl in front of me. She looked nervous by my silence. I let go of her hands, making her even more anxious. You should know one thing about me first. What? I go ahead a step and hug her close to me, and we both start hovering above the ground. I am an alien. Lena was shocked, surprised, and confused. I left the place before she could say anything, telling her to call me when she has thought things through. The next day, I went for my martial arts session with Sandra and Carolyn. But from afar, I saw that there were many masked people in black clothes at different locations throughout Detroit, particularly near the restaurant. Inside, I see the sisters performing for the crowd, and in the front line of the crowd I see David Kane, the white-haired old bastard who had various weapons hidden inside his clothes. I could see him scanning Sandra from head to toe, like he was inspecting his own property, and his disdain for Carolyn. Through all the spars, I have started to tell people's mood from their body language. Not that he was doing a good job of hiding it. I wanted nothing more than to kill him right here, thinking about all the things he will do to the sisters in the future if left alone. But I can't do that. He was one of the top assassins in the League of Assassins, and his murder will bring unwanted attention to me and to the sisters. He will also be teaching Bruce in the future the art of killing, so that's another reason why he should be kept alive for now. I had a different plan for him. I did not go near, as I knew that he will not do anything right now. Him being a very meticulous person, and will keep observing them for a couple of days. Even if he tries something, I can quickly come back. I went to San Francisco, picked up Zatanna from there, telling John that we are going out for a movie. I secretly told her to bring her magic hat in a bag, so her father doesn't know. While on the way, I told Zatanna that my friends are in danger because of a person, and we can't kill him as there is a very big dangerous organization behind them. I, along with Zatanna, entered the dojo, and we had changed our faces and clothes with a short-lived illusion spell. The show was still ongoing. We both stayed in the back, and I silently cast a spell. Tupmi Nieknart. I see David's eyes lose focus, and I see his body relax visibly. I went forward and stand beside him and cast another silent spell. Alafim. I started moving, avoiding the crowd, and he followed me quietly to the restroom. I observe other people, and am glad that no one seems to have eyes on us. I had checked the people already, but wasn't sure if there was someone from the League inside the restaurant except David. Still, I didn't want to take any chances, and asked Zatanna, who was already inside, to do it fast. What I wanted to do was tweak his memory a bit and make him believe that he observed the Asian girls, but found them lacking to produce him a worthy offspring, and maybe he should go to China for his search. The reason I brought Zatanna is that she is exceptionally talented in memory manipulation. I knew so from the comics, as she did manipulate memories of various JL members multiple times. But over time I realized that the Zatara family are just talented in this regard. I was not that great at it still, and I did not want to take any chances, especially when the sisters' lives were at stake. I also asked her to add in an extra fake memory of him coming to the restroom for a leak during the show. Zatanna does all this in less than 30 seconds. We resume our illusions and leave him here going back to the crowd. I stop the magic fueling the first spell, and I observe him looking himself in the mirror inside the restroom with a bit of disappointment. He comes out and goes straight out of the restaurant into a car and calls someone from inside. I hear him talking that the operation is cancelled and they should retreat. He drives the car away, and I observe him and the league members moving out of the city orderly. I give a thumbs up to awaiting Zatanna, but just to be sure we still stay here until the show is done and the crowd disperse. As everyone goes out, we undo our illusions in front of the sisters, surprising both of them. The sisters knew about Zatanna a bit from my talks about how I am learning magic with martial arts too. Carolyn bombards Zatanna with questions as we go to their house. Zatanna was also excited to learn a bit of martial arts, having heard so much about it already from me. She goes inside one of the rooms to change her formal dress to something more comfortable given by Carolyn. Sandra just keeps silent the whole way, seemingly not in a good mood. Carolyn then tells me that an old man was staring intently at both of them today during the performance, and it felt very weird. Hearing the question, Sandra looks at me, wanting to know my view. He won't be bothering you from now on. Why? Who was he? What did he do? And what did you do to him? Sandra asks abruptly. You do not need to know. Let's just say I did not like the way he looked at you both. Carolyn hugged me at my reply, thanking me for becoming her knight in shining armor. I just patted her head and looked at Sandra, who just smiled a bit and went out to train. As we were leaving, Zatanna told us that she wanted to learn martial arts too. When I offered that I could teach her, she rejected me flatly, saying that she would be learning it from Carolyn. I asked her why, and she told me that she saw the high-intensity spar between me and Sandra and would rather learn simple things for protection from Carolyn. I could see that they both already became fast friends. I dropped her back at her place, promising that I would take her to Detroit with me sometimes. I go home and get a call from Lena in the evening. She apologized, saying that she tried but couldn't get away from her father today to meet. She told me she doesn't mind, and was rather very happy with me trusting her with my secret. She just declared that this settles it, and we are officially dating now. Technically, in secret until she introduces me to her father. I said that I was not in a hurry, and we decided to meet sometime next week. I went to Kat's house as I wasn't able to come yesterday, and see Pamela sitting in front just silently staring at the flowers. I sit beside her and look at the green-eyed, red-haired, pretty girl sitting beside me looking at the flowers happily. I run my hands through her smooth red hair. She turns her attention towards me, feeling a bit uncomfortable by my touch. Not minding her reaction, I cup her face with both my hands. You can talk to me, you know? I will listen and pay attention to you better than those flowers. You just have to trust me and open your heart to me a bit. She gives me a sad smile and rubs her face into my hands, liking its warmth. I take a bit of a leap and remove my hands and proceed to hug her. She is shocked by the hug but calms down after a while and goes to sleep listening to my heartbeat. I stay like this, giving a smile to Selena and Dinah, who were watching everything secretly. Selena smiles back and takes Dinah away, telling her quietly how she should continue reading. I look at the flowers which were planted here already when we bought the house and remember about Pamela Isley's story. She lived in this same house with her parents. Her father was a very violent man and abused her mother frequently. She would see her mother with a new injury every few days. Her mother loved gardening, and these flowers were planted by her. She used to tell Pamela how only flowers listened to her, and how if she was very quiet sometimes she could hear them talk back. Her father, after every beating, used to bring a bouquet of flowers the next day for her mother, asking for forgiveness, and her mother would happily forgive him. She learned how easily people could be manipulated with things like flowers at a very young age. One night her mother tried to defend herself. In anger, her father killed her and buried her in the same garden that she tended. Pamela called the police and locked herself in the room. The police came, and her father was sentenced to a life in prison, and Pamela was sent to her relatives in Gotham. In the comics, she will go on to become a biochemist. She would experiment with plants at her home and would make drugs which enhance someone's focus while also keeping you in a euphoric state. It had a side effect of making you submissive and easily manipulated. She would use this on boys and men, seducing them and getting whatever she wanted. She would get arrested for selling an illegal drug. But she had already seduced the dean with her charms, who dropped the charges, and she would even go on to get the degree with the highest honors. After that, she would make a toxin which is untraceable in the form of lipstick, and would go to meet her father in prison, kissing him on the lips, who would be mysteriously found dead the next day. She would go on to work in the biochem department producing cosmetics and pharmaceuticals for the Wayne Industries. She would use her newly developed drugs on the company officials, seducing them and meeting Bruce Wayne, introducing him to her drug, and how it can basically cut the marketing cost to zero. Bruce would call it a brainwashing drug and fire her, telling her to leave empty-handed as her research is also company property. She would try to leave with her research, but while escaping from security, her own drugs would fall on her, making her skin burn and changing her completely to poison ivy. Her skin would turn green, and she would gain the control of all plant life with her mysterious connection to the green. She would go on to become a very powerful villain, who was immune to all poison, as well as could make plants grow very fast with different effects. She would once turn the whole Gotham City into a garden, almost killing everyone or turning them into plant zombies by her poison. She would have no qualms for human life, as nature would become her everything. I do not want her to change into that, even if in the end she would return to nature and would stop killing humans. I looked in the mirror while getting ready for my first day at Smallville High School. I looked extremely handsome, as tall as 6 feet and the same young face of the actor from the Man of Steel movie. On the first day, seeing my height and body, the seniors did try to emphasize my role as a junior, to which I made them more honest by making them all lie down on the bathroom floor. My friends knew that this would happen and were not surprised, but it did make everyone aware of who not to mess with. I included Chloe in my group and introduced Lana and everyone to her. And I especially told Lana to take care of her as she was new in town and did not have many friends. Lana agreed though, a bit reluctantly, as she could see how close I and Chloe were. I basically snatched the position of quarterback in our high school team, the Smallville Crows. During the tryouts, I challenged the hot-headed coach Walt Arnold that I am the best quarterback he would see in his teaching career, and only by giving me the position could he hope to win the state championships ever again. Angry at being taunted by such an arrogant junior, he personally took my tryouts, but after watching me play changed his tune of how I am the destined kid who will fulfill his legacy. I managed my strength to acceptable levels so he would get impressed and make an exception for me. I joined the team as I wanted to be the popular guy and make this years of school a bit more fun. Lana did not join any club. I knew she had a lot of work to do, but I wanted to see her in a cheerleader dress cheering me on. When I told her this, she accepted to go for the tryouts shyly. Basically a day before, I told her about my plan after high school and asked for her help. I knew this was a very big thing that I was asking of her, and it was a very risky decision too. She immediately answered yes, feeling very happy to be asked for such an important position. I repeatedly told her the risks, as well as assured her too, that I am very confident that this plan would work, and I would never ask if it wasn't beneficial for her. Her reply didn't change. And so she was learning things and preparing for our future. That was also one of the reasons she accepted Chloe as a friend, as she knew Chloe's computer skills would help her a lot. Chloe joined the Smallville Torch newspaper club. I knew that she wanted to be a journalist and did not stop her. With time, our three's friendship grew. Lana, being my official girlfriend, was never approached by any guys, and even seniors knew to not mess with me. But Chloe was getting attention from a guy in my class, and being the friendly girl she was, she never outright rejected his advances. During the school break, I grabbed her hand and brought her to the back of the school where no one was around. I knew that Lana saw us, and was secretly following to see what was going on. I approached her, and kept advancing near her. Chloe just kept backing slowly with a blush, her ever-speaking mouth unusually silent. Her back touched the wall and her whole face went red, as we were very intimately close right now. I caressed her cheek, telling her that I feel very jealous when she gets close to other boys. The only one who is allowed to be close to her is me. She looked at me with a red face and watery eyes. I could practically feel her happiness. I have seen her look when she knew that I already had a girlfriend named Lana, but she kept it in, and never displayed any of her jealousy and disappointment. I kissed her near the lips, saying that I would be needing her private computer lessons frequently from now on, so she has to be available for me anytime, and I backed off. She replied with a silent, and rushed off with a racing heart. I looked to the direction where Lana was hiding behind the trees with tears streaming down her face. As I came near her, she just kept looking at me, still unable to hold back her tears. "Why, Clark? Why? Am I not enough for you?" she said quietly, trying to keep her voice from breaking. I go ahead and clear the tears from her face and hug her close. She does not reject my hug and keeps sobbing silently in my chest. Then she looks up at me with her blue eyes and tear-stricken face. "Was it because we didn't do it yet?" "I told you we can do it. I am ready, Clark." "No, Lana, it's not that. You did nothing wrong." I kiss her wet lips and tell her softly. "So why, Clark? Tell me why. You know how much my chest is hurting right now. Seeing you with her so close and intimate, I felt so hurt. I even felt that this was an illusion, thinking that my Clark would never do that he would never cheat on me. Didn't you say that you love me, Clark?" It hurt me deeply seeing Lana crying and in this state, but I always knew this moment would come. I take her face in my hands, looking lovingly at her swollen red eyes and tired face. "I have known you all my life, Lana. From the moment my mom placed me in a crib with you when you were just months old to our first kiss on your pink bed. I remember each and every moment with you. They are my precious memories. They are a part of me. You are a part of me. I have loved you for a very long time, Lana, and can never separate myself from you. You know my heart, so you know my love for you." I kiss her again passionately, this time like I am devouring her, and Lana returns the kiss with the same passion. After some time our lips part, a line of saliva still joining them. She looks up at me with love, but then remembers the incident. "So was this all just a play? You do not like Chloe? And how can you remember things when you were just months old?" she asks me with no more tears, just looking a bit confused. I let her face go and place my hands on her waist. "I've wanted to tell you something for a very long time, but I never found the right opportunity. I will tell you everything about me today. Just don't scream." "All right." Before she could ask what I meant, I took her to the skies fast so that no one could see me, except for Chloe, who had returned after finding that I did not come back yet, and had been standing at a distance. She was incredibly scared finding Lana with me, and she must have already seen them before. As I see Lana going to scream from the shock of finding herself flying in the sky, I seal her lips, entwining our tongues and making her calm down. After I find her body relaxed, I stop kissing her and take us just above the clouds. She sees around in confusion and grips me tightly, finding clouds beneath her feet. After a moment seeing us both just hovering there, she asks me, "Clark, you can fly? But how? Do you have superpowers? I always felt odd why you were so fascinated with superheroes even after we grew up." I proceed to tell her about the things I remember from my childhood. My original parents, the space capsule, Krypton exploding with my parents, me waking up in the arms of my new parents, my childhood, finding out about my powers, training it diligently for years to keep them in control so I do not look weird and can live normally. Knowing that I was an alien never helped me. The more I grew, the more powers I gained and the harder it became to control them. It made me increasingly realize that I was alone in this whole world. I was different from everyone. It made me aware that I could never become a normal human being, and I was probably the only one alive from my planet. Seeing how sad I looked, Lana hugged me tight, having tears in her eyes. "You are not alone, Clark. I am with you right here. My parents loved me unconditionally even after knowing my powers. But I was afraid all my life of how people would react when they see me, how the government would try to control me seeing what I was capable of, how all my friends and my parents would be taken away from me if this secret gets out. I was even sometimes scared of myself, that if I lost control, everyone close to me, you, my parents, my friends, they could be killed by my hands. No, Clark, look at me. I know you, even if I didn't know about your powers and all, but I know your heart. You can never ever hurt me or the people you care about. Remember when in your house I was making a dish for you and I cut my finger, how you rushed to my side asking what happened. I loved how worried you were, even after checking the bleeding to be stopped." She gives me a kiss and nestles her face on my neck. "You don't understand the loneliness I feel, Lana, of how much I crave a family in this foreign world. I crave affection, Lana. It fills this deep loneliness in my heart. And that's why I cannot ignore someone's love for me. I cannot ignore Chloe, and I definitely cannot ignore you. I don't know what purpose my parents sent me in this world, but after staying here for many years, I came to understand that it would be very difficult for this world to completely accept an alien with such great power. And so I have dreamed, Lana, to have a big family filled with people who would love me unconditionally, and I would spend my life loving and caring for them back. I looked at the now stunned Lana and tightened my hug a bit, bringing herself even closer. I know it's a very selfish dream. You can slap me, beat me, be angry with me. But I will never let you go. As for me, you are already a part of my family. I don't mind you being an alien. I don't mind you being so different from me. I can accept all that, Clark, but I just can't accept any other girl being with you. I can't even see you being intimate with Chloe. For me, you are my whole world, Clark. When you told me your future plan, I agreed readily, because for me you come first. Can you say the same for me, Clark? Lana asks me, tearing up again. I know I am very selfish, but I also know you are the kindest and the sweetest girl I know, Lana. You have a very big heart. And Chloe is a very nice girl, so I know you will accept her. We will be a family in the future, and she will be your sister. We will stay together forever. I will protect you all and love you all, with all my heart, with all my power. I say, while kissing her tears softly on her face, and placing her hand on my heart, and placing mine over hers. I see Lana close her eyes, and feel my heartbeat through her hands. Yes, you are a very selfish jerk. You are basically a bastard, she says to me angrily. But I can't leave you, but I can't accept Chloe either. What to do, Clark? What should I do? She whispers softly while placing her head on my chest and her ear in front of my heart, tiredly with a bit of helplessness. Why can't you just stay mine, Clark? She says, opening her eyes and kissing me through tears. Alright, don't cry now. We have a lifetime to figure these things out. Right now we should have talked with Chloe, as she already saw me taking you to the sky, and I don't want that to be the headlines in the school paper tomorrow. Hearing Chloe's name again, she flinches but nods, while hugging me again tightly, and burrowing her face in my chest. I wiped her face carefully so no one could tell about her crying session, but still, her eyes looked a bit puffy and red. We go down and see Chloe still at the same place, looking around in the sky and thinking something. Looking at me with Lana, Chloe stops whatever question she was going to ask and looks down ashamed. I realize Lana is staring at Chloe. I release her from my hug and she goes near her. Chloe closes her eyes, expecting a slap. Lana looks at the scared girl in front of her, and just sighs helplessly. Can you not tell anyone what you saw today, please? Lana asks Chloe softly. Realizing her not pursuing the earlier matter, but asking about something else, Chloe cheers up a bit and immediately replies, But Clark can fly, he has superpowers. I need to take an interview of him, he would become famous. Chloe then looks at me, her earlier embarrassment totally gone. Clark, are you an alien? Did you come in a ship? Or are you a secret government project? Or did you get your superpowers from a meteorite? Do you have other superpowers? Wait, don't answer right now, let me bring my notebook so I can write everything down. We can take some photos too. This is big news, I have to publish it in my paper. Before the overly excited Chloe goes off somewhere, I stop her by her arm. Seeing me holding her so forcefully, Chloe calms down and blushes, remembering about before, and takes a look at Lana. I see Lana massage her forehead, probably getting a headache from all this, but before I could say something, she takes Chloe's other hand. I will have a talk with her. You go to your football practice. Seeing her serious look and making sure that she is not angry, I release Chloe. But before going, I kiss Chloe's cheek and Lana on her lips. Stunning both of them, I vanish, and leave both of them alone. Football was easy for me. Most of the time I skipped practice and the coach just let me be, knowing how talented I was. Still, playing in a team was fun, as even if I was the best player I couldn't just win by myself. My teammates were very upset with a junior getting the main quarterback position, but after some games we became quite good friends. There were still some jealous people, but knowing what happened to other seniors who messed with me kept them in line. Lana became a cheerleader easily. And she also had a very intimate talk with Chloe, while I was eavesdropping. She asked everything about her life, and knowing about her parents' divorce, and how after that her mother was admitted to the mental hospital, did gain her many sympathy points. Lana told her that she looked like a good girl, and if I trusted her then so would she. Lana then goes on to explain things about me, even telling her all the embarrassing stories. They practically stayed together the whole second half of the school. She convinced Chloe to keep things about me a secret, as it will bring me a lot of trouble. When Chloe heard Lana say that they would need to work hard together to help me a lot in the future, and that she wanted her to be good friends, even maybe sisters at some point in the future, I could see Chloe's eyes getting moist and then hugging Lana tightly, saying she would love that. I was very impressed by Lana, and even took her atop Eiffel Tower for a private candlelight dinner that evening. A little magic in my personal storage space made booking it unnecessary. She said it was the most magical experience of her life. And I could see that she was holding me tightly with a sweet smile on her face, looking at my face the whole way during our return. Years passed, we won football state championships for both years consecutively, making me famous as the star quarterback and inflating the coach's ego even more, as he kept saying he was the one who found me and trained me. I received special rewards from both the girls. In the after party, I took Lana to one of the closed classrooms, and we made out, her still wearing the cheerleader costume, making me all excited. Chloe too attended the party, and gave me a stealthy kiss when asked for a reward. They both got along well now, especially since Chloe had to help Lana a lot with the information she needed. They both kept the other girls who came after me away too, which I didn't mind at all. In the second after party, they both took me to an empty classroom, and I made out with both of them. In the end, it even turned into a competition of sorts, exciting me further. They refused to do anything naughty together after that day, saying how embarrassing that was. We still went on dates, mostly on individual dates, but sometimes 3 of us would go out together. They both would try and not make the other one upset, making my life a bit easier. Well, I am 16 right now, and I have decided that it's time to visit the Fortress of Solitude. I go to my dad and tell him that I am ready to see the ship I came in. He nods silently, and takes me to the shed where we keep the animals, and then I help him open the underground trap door. I am not surprised to see it, as I have already seen the pod lying here. I go down and bring it above the ground like it's nothing. I inspect it and find that it has a very sleek shape, black colored with a small compartment space having a glass opening. There is a metal piece which has a press and switch type structure on the side. I push the small rectangle switch in, and the glass door opens. My father describes the story of how they found me in his own view. In the end, he hugs me and gives me the S-crystal, saying he found it inside the ship's compartment with me. He wishes me best of luck and tells me to not forget them after finding it, or Martha would be very upset. I smile at how simple and sweet my parents are, and hug him again, reassuring him that this is, and will always be, my home. I put the pod and the crystal inside my storage with the spell. Before going to find the Fortress of Solitude in Canada, I will have to solve a minor issue. The thing is that if I enter the ship and activate it with the crystal, then there will be a distress signal sent. Now I am pretty sure that General Zod and his loyal army are still in the Phantom Zone, so they won't be the real threats right now. But the distress signal would make Earth a beacon for anybody to follow. So I will have to find another way to first hack the ship and turn off the distress signal, as it is still sending a very weak signal. One of the main reasons why the US military could locate it under 18,000-year-old ice. So, I will have to find Doomsday first. I fly to Texas and dive into the canyon lake while strengthening my barrier and manipulating the surrounding water, so I do not make much disturbance. I reach the underground bed of the lake, and then the real work starts. I use my tactile telekinesis to the maximum and go down inside the ground. What I do is that I use my ability and make space in front of me and fill the space behind me. While doing so, I use my X-rays to the fullest of my abilities. I keep going down for like a minute and I see it, a bit farther than me. It's a huge structure, almost indistinguishable from its surrounding. If only it did not have what looked like an empty cabin made from crystals in between. Huge pointed rock protrusions are connected in every direction except the middle from the cabin. And in the middle, there is a ring-like rock structure which gives it the feeling of an orbit. I go ahead, and I feel no resistance, so go on to touch the middle orbit ring. Suddenly, all the rocks connected to the cabin, including the ring, change to crystals. And they keep shrinking and disappearing inside the cabin. After 5 whole minutes, I could see that all the surrounding rocks are just ordinary rocks, and the crystals are nowhere to be seen. There is a clear hard ground under my feet, and a clear path has been made to the cabin. I reach the cabin, and the wall forms a door, and I enter inside. I could see the interior of the ship made from a mixture of some metal and the crystals I saw before. In the middle of the cabin, I see a raised crystal platform with a space in the middle. I take out the so-called command key, which is the S crystal that Dad gave me, and insert it inside the platform, which is the command center for this ship. Yes, this is what I wanted to find. This is the Doomsday, the ship. During Krypton's golden age, the ancestor of General Zod, Drew Zod I, or Admiral Zod, was the most renowned military commander, and led a fleet of warships across the stars to scout for new potential conquests. No one knows what happened, but the command ship of his fleet, which was called the Doomsday, crash-landed on Earth some 300 years ago and went underneath Texas. The speciality of Admiral Zod's ship, or his whole fleet, was that it was entirely made up of sunstones. The sunstone ships were so powerful that they were able to devastate entire planets with just one ship. Now the uses of sunstone are endless. It's most commonly known as Kryptonian growth crystal. It can be called a miracle mineral, as it has properties such as being light, infinitely programmable, self-repairing, storage of vast power, could store incredible amounts of data and could transfer this data at light speeds. It was a very potent construction tool. If programmed, a small fragment could transform to large scale. Sunstone formations. The ships formed from sunstones launch a fragment of themselves as massive crystal missiles on the enemy planet, which would cause a large impact damage on the enemy structures. However, it won't stop there, and will take a route into the enemy ground. Then it will draw the nearby matter and reshape and convert it into automated battle constructs who will go on to destroy the enemy planet. It can be used as an interrogation tool to extract memories and project them to someone else's mind. It can also be used to disrupt teleportation. The Doomsday itself has more unique properties like force field manipulation. The ship can create almost impermeable barriers. Geomorphing. The ship is sentient and can change its infrastructure to whatever it needs at will, like anything from a floating warship to a giant robot. Crystallo drones. The ship can fire lasers and so could its crystal projectiles. Assimilation. It can absorb and mimic anything it is introduced to, even including the radiations produced by different kryptonites. This ship was supposed to be found by Lex Luthor in the future, and he would try to use this against me. Well, now it's mine, and he is dust. As the command key is inserted, I see the crystal cabin shine and the platform goes down into the ground. Then I hear a female voice coming from apparently everywhere. Recursive diagnostic complete, guiding presence authenticated, all systems operational. And then in front of me, I see my original father, Jor-El, looking the same as he did when I was just a child. He was wearing a dark overcoat with an undershirt with S on it, the symbol of House L. I could see that he was just a hologram as he couldn't fool my eyes. I couldn't feel his life presence either. What followed was a long dialogue straight out of the movie Man of Steel. I played my role perfectly. I did tell him what I remember from my memories of when I was a child. He said I have evolved far beyond what he can imagine. He confirmed that this was the Doomsday and explained its functions to me. Before we could have the why I was sent here discussion, I asked him if there were another Kryptonian vessel nearby. He told me that there were 2 more in total except this ship. One was the scout ship underneath the Ellesmere Island, Canada, and the other was a space pod similar to the one I came in. The pod was apparently orbiting the Sol system, which is our solar system. I think that pod must be Kara, at least she didn't end up in Phantom Zone. I had no time nor intention to take care of a moody, superpowered teen right now. Let her sleep for a couple years, and then I would bring her. I asked my father to hack the ship and turn off its distress system first. After that, start the ship and send it to the North Pole. I told him to make sure that the government can't track the ship. I realized that when I give orders, my father behaved just like a programmed AI executing my tasks. He has almost no opinion about my orders unless asked. I knew that if the government were observing that place, then the spaceship coming out of the ground and flying away would alarm a lot of people. But I wasn't that worried about it. I asked him if there was a way the Doomsday could travel to the North Pole, away from any prying eyes silently. He informed me that this ship could take the shape of anything I told him to reduce the size of the ship to the original crystal shard, and to bring everything which couldn't be changed to sunstone crystals in front of me. He just opens a door in the cabin and I see another room filled with Kryptonian battle armors, energy lances, Kryptonian rifles and pistols. I stuff everything into my storage. Seeing me do that, Jor-El asked stunned if I had awakened my magic gene. I asked him confused what he was on about, and he explained that there was a very secretive group of Kryptonians known as Kryptonian Magi, who lived secluded in the Valley of Juru, which remained unexplored even after Krypton became technologically advanced. It is said that they interbreed mostly, and the only Magi who he has seen in all his life is Kara, my cousin's uncle. The gene was very hard to be found in the Kryptonians, and harder to awaken, unless you are not a born Magi. The more I heard, the more similar it seemed to Homo Magi of Earth. Just then Jor-El said that the ship had reached the North Pole. I went out of the room and find myself underground again. The room behind me starts absorbing each other, and in the end all I could see are 2 crystals in front of me. One of them being the black command key, and the other a clear crystal of similar size. I store both of them and get out of the lake again towards the North Pole. I see the black metal ship docked on ice. I leave it alone and find a remote location somewhere in the center of the glaciers. I dig a hole there in the ice and drop the sunstone crystal inside. I fly away waiting for it to start construction, and look back at the scout ship. This is Scout Ship 0344. It has a genetic chamber and all the basic amenities including food, water, clothing facilities. The crew had been killed by a prisoner and he died shortly after, making the ship crash on Earth many years ago. The sunstone crystal keeps multiplying by absorbing the ice and water nearby. After nearly 10 minutes, I see a large trapezoidal superstructure in front of me. It's so big that the scout ship looks small in comparison. Now this is what I can call the real Fortress of Solitude. I went to the huge icy gates of the fortress and the command center came up in front of me. I inserted the command key, and it went back inside. Jor-El appeared beside me and waved his hand, and the huge gates opened. We went inside, and I told him to create a barrier in the surroundings, so that without my permission, no one could come near the fortress. The scout ship was brought here, and a space was created inside the fortress to work as a hangar. The main thing was that the scout ship was made of a hard Kryptonian alloy, while the inside facilities were made of liquid geometry, or liquid geo for short. It is a Kryptonian standard multi-purpose technology. It basically is a collection of silver beads that are suspended through a magnetic field and can be dynamically arranged to create a 3D surface that hovers in the air. The command key I have is also made of this liquid geo. It is mainly used for displays, but it is also very durable and can be used as a defensive shield for a wide area in spacecrafts. Mainly the sunstones were very expensive, so they came up with a technology which was cheaper and can at least substitute minor roles. Jor-El took me to the scout ship and showed me the Genesis chamber, and then went on about how both him and my mother hoped that I would make my own path as the last son of Krypton, of how I have the choice to aspire to be something greater. They gave their life protecting their embodiment of this belief, me, of how I am the child of two different cultures, of how I can embody the best of both worlds. And then a door slid open, and there it was in all blue, the Superman suit. The same design, the same symbol in red and yellow, and the same bright red cape. I was just looking at the S symbol on the suit blankly, with Jor-El speaking from my side. The people of Earth are different. They won't necessarily make the same mistakes we did. Not if you guide them, Cal. Not if you give them hope. He shows the S symbol on his undershirt. That's what this symbol means. The symbol from House of El means hope. Embodied within that hope is the fundamental belief in the potential of every person to be a force for good. That's what you can bring them. I knew in the back of my mind that this was just a Kryptonian skin suit with a cape, mostly worn as an informal clothing or as an undergarment while wearing an armor. But with the emotional speech from my father, even I, despite knowing that this is just a suit, felt a heroic feeling rising. I took off my clothes fast. Jor-El disappeared. I went ahead and took the one-piece suit. It felt like it was made from a blue chainmail-like material. The boots which were beside the suit were of a darker red. I wore it and looked down, touching the S symbol on my chest. I felt goosebumps all over my body like a dream had come true. Only one thought stayed in my mind, that this is all real. I close my eyes and for the first time finally and totally accept that I am Superman and Superman is me. Not some fictional character from the comics or the movies, but a real living breathing Superman. I step towards the gate while Jor-El speaks from all around. You will be their ideal, Cal. They will chase after you, and in the end they will also join you, in the sun. Now go out and keep challenging your limits. I step outside, the gate closing behind me. I hear the cold winds howling, my long red cape fluttering. I see above, beyond the clouds, the bright yellow sun shining. And without any other thoughts, without any other barriers or control, I fly straight towards it. I pass by the clouds, the atmosphere, and head out of the earth. In my eyes there was only the sun, the hot ball of light. All I wanted to do was just touch it once. I kept flying and flying in the silent space. I have left all my equipment and clothes in my storage, so I did not know how long it took. The only thing I knew was that the closer I got, the faster I was becoming. I had already entered a marvelous state of mind, which I did reach sometimes during my long meditations. In it I could feel my cells getting drunk from power. I concentrated inside them, and I felt that I could absorb and store energy faster than before. I kept observing and understanding how my current body was changing, how it was evolving even more. I could already feel myself getting much stronger. In that state I didn't know how much time passed. But I arrived at the sun and headed right into the fire. Neither my suit nor my body burnt, as my bioelectric aura was almost corporeal here, in the form of a blue transparent sphere surrounding me. I felt warm here, and closed my eyes, touching the ground on the sun. Before I could think about going further inside the sun, my marvelous state broke, and my whole body felt very full. I knew that my body has reached the limits for storing the energy, for now, and any further stay here will not help me. I heave a sigh, taking a last look around, and start my long journey back to Earth. Seeing the beautiful blue planet from outer space, I felt very peaceful. Watching it, within me a belief arose, an instinct, like I was the protector and it was my home. Superman's home. I came back and knew that more than 24 hours had gone by. It was my summer vacation in school, and I had already messaged and informed everyone prior that I would be busy for some days, so I wasn't worried. Still, with my enhanced X-ray or see-through vision, I could cover the whole Earth now, and so I had no problem in seeing what everyone was doing. Jor-El told me that my height had increased to 6 feet 3 inches, and my muscles also increased substantially. But I did not hulk up, just my body density was higher now than before. Inside the fortress I told Jor-El the specifications, and he made me a computer of sorts, which had a 3D display made from liquid geo linked to a sunstone wall. I asked the service robots which were found inside the scout ship to clean the ship and move the extra furniture and pods to the fortress. I used the sunstone as a power source for the ship, and hence it was at full capacity. I made a big room inside the fortress and kept all the weapons I got from the Doomsday in it, with liquid geo suspending them mid-air like on a display. This will be my armory from now on, leaving the rest of the customization of fortress for later. I first started learning the Kryptonian language. The service robots alongside the computer helped a lot in easily mastering the language. Then I went on to learn every known language in the database, which took me half a day. After which, I started to browse through Kryptonian history to see what all I could learn. I found out about Torquasm Rao and Torquasm VO, which were more like Kryptonian versions of yoga and meditation respectively. There was even a martial art called Klurkor, which looked a lot like karate. I learned that the miraculous state I was in before is reached through Torquasm VO practice and is called Theta state. The masters of this art could battle or communicate amongst one another through sheer consciousness. As I was reading this, Jor-El appeared, telling me that as I have specified, he has been keeping an eye on different energy signatures on Earth or entering the Sol system, and he found a very small meteor which is emitting strange radiation not found in the database headed straight for the Earth, and will likely fall in Africa in a day. Hearing Africa, I could guess what this meteor is. I looked at the display again and told him to prepare a confined room so that we can test what properties this radiation has. I asked Jor-El to make me a black skin suit without the cape, the same one he was wearing, and bring it to me. Then I go to the armory, where a service drone brings me that black one-piece skin suit with the same S symbol on it. Inside the armory, I had designated the right side for weapons, left for battle suits, and in front will be where all my superhero suits will be kept. I remove my blue suit and keep it in place. Wearing the black one-piece skin suit, I proceed to don the Kryptonian battle armor, as I do not want the radiation of that meteor to affect me, yet. To keep in touch with the fortress, I gave my specifications to Jor-El, who programmed a very tiny piece of sunstone as a link between the fortress's main system and me. For this piece to remain hidden, a small mass of liquid geo was programmed to wrap it up and keep it inside my ear. When I tapped my ear twice, it was also programmed to come out and take the form of a Bluetooth headset, so that it could disguise as me talking on the phone. Speaking of the phone, my mobile phone was now connected with Fortress, so even if I keep it in my storage, the Fortress could intercept my calls and messages and forward it to me, despite me being anywhere in the whole Sol system. It felt a bit weird letting the goo-like thing crawl in my ear and hide inside, but after it settled down, I could not even feel anything different unless I specifically looked for it. I would have wanted it to be a sweet, melodious girl's voice inside my head, but I will have to make do with my father's voice. He would be speaking in a low enough voice, so that no one but only I could hear it with my super hearing. Wearing the battle armor with the breather cut off my connection with the yellow sun, but I had stored enough energy in my body already so it won't matter to me anyway. I flew to the meteor, which was still very far from Earth. It was just a bit bigger than me in size. It was glowing with a strange yellow color. I wrap it with my aura, and stop it completely, and proceed to keep it inside my storage. Then I return back to the fortress and release it inside the already prepared room. Jor-El then confirms my guess that the radiation this meteor is emitting will affect anyone who will come in contact with. Most probably it will develop the person's brain even more. According to previous Kryptonian records of similar objects, the said person or living thing will gain an increase in intellect, and maybe even abilities like telepathy, telekinesis, and mind control. I studied the detailed reports of the different types of radiation emitted alongside Jor-El, and came to the conclusion that there was not one but two different types of radiation. The primary one was what my father first informed me about. Mixed within was a tiny amount of a very different type of radiation, which according to Jor-El most likely would restructure or in other words deform the body of the living being in contact. This was the rock which was the cause of the highly advanced gorilla city in Africa. It gave the gorillas who came in contact with the rock intellects rivaling or even surpassing those of humanity. They made a super advanced city there, and even came up with a Wakandian force field-like technology, so that they could remain hidden from the outside world. The rock would also give powers to Gorilla Grodd and Hector Hammond, the all-time villains, and nemesis for the Flash and Green Lanterns like Hal Jordan respectively. They both should thank me as I have taken this rock before it falls on Africa, and so neither Gorilla City nor Grodd nor Hammond would gain any kind of mental powers. I told Jor-El to program 2 different sunstones to absorb and isolate the 2 radiations, as I had no use of the second type of radiation. Yet, I knew that if you are exposed for a very short time or to a very small amount of the first type of radiation, then it would still increase your intellect but will also sap your will as a side effect. That's why I wanted to collect and concentrate the radiation so that the side effect disappears. Jor-El informed me that it would take almost 2 days for the process. I made 2 different rooms which had vaults like in banks, and the sunstone here was programmed to restrict any kind of energy from going out. One of them was for magical stuff, another for non-magical. The sunstone would not be able to stop magic, but I was not in a hurry to perfect them. Thinking about Africa, I decided it was about time that I made sure that my identity as Clark Kent remains hidden. I changed to my blue superhero suit and went to Gotham while casting an illusion on me. I went to the bedroom inside the home of the former archaeologist, and now a wealthy publisher, Harv Hickman. The stone was kept on display in front of his bed. It looked like a normal gray cuboid-shaped rock with some cracks. It was no bigger than a can of juice. I took the rock with me and went to Turkey. I reached the ruins of an ancient Roman temple, the Temple of Augustus. It had just some walls and pillars standing. Seeing that no one was around, I went to an open space somewhere in the middle of the now broken temple and manipulated the rocks below to drill underneath. I reached a small room, just under these ruins, inside which there were 2 objects. One was a sharp-looking scimitar with a golden hilt and guard, half inserted inside the ground, and a book which was kept on a rock platform some distance away from the weapon. I went for the scimitar first. Taking the golden hilt in my hand, I tried to take it out, but it didn't even budge. I wrapped my aura around it and used both my hands and all my strength, but it still did not come out of the ground. Knowing that it was futile, I released my grip and took the nth metal mace out of my storage and slammed it down on the ground surrounding the scimitar. A magic formation flashed for a second on the ground, which had the scimitar at its center, but then it got destroyed by my mace, after which I took the scimitar easily out of the ground. As the whole scimitar comes out, a bright yellow flame surrounds the blade, and I confirm that this is a magically enchanted weapon. Suddenly I hear a voice coming from everywhere. "That weapon is not meant for you, young man." I turn around and see an old man wearing long purple robes, with a wooden staff in his hand. He had long white hair, with a long white beard, and a long white mustache. But I found it lying on the ground and picked it up, so it's now mine, I say, admiring the yellow magical flames on the scimitar. "No, I could tell you do not have a pure heart, as you destroyed my magic formation to take the weapon," he says, slamming the staff down, trying to intimidate me. "You really like this King Arthur routine, don't you? I store the scimitar inside my storage. Relax. I do not need this small weapon. I will pass it to someone deserving in the future." The old man's eyes contract seeing me pocket the weapon, but he doesn't take any action and just observes me. "So who might you be, young man?" "You can call me Superman, Gandalf the White," I reply to him, chuckling to myself. I do not know who this Gandalf is, but let me introduce myself. "I am Merlin, you may have heard of me before," the old man replies while caressing his long white beard. Yeah, Gandalf, Dumbledore, Merlin, it's all the same," I say, while waving my hand dismissively at him, and going towards the platform with the book on it. Suddenly Merlin appears before me with both his hands on the staff and slams it down again, producing a small amount of dust to rise in the ground where the staff hits. "You may take the weapon, but I cannot let you take that book, young man." Before he could say anything further, I was by the platform with the book in my hand. "You mean this book?" I say while looking at the red book with golden edges and a golden round mark in the middle of the cover. In the golden mark, I could see the imprinted face of what looked like a demon from hell. Merlin turns towards me, shocked at my speed. "No, keep it back. You do not know what that book is. It is evil, pure evil," he says, reaching out his hand towards me. You know, old man, if you really want to stop me, you will have to come out of your secret dimension and break your suspended animation, as your astral projection can't do a thing, I say, waving my mace in front of him. Well, even if your real body arrives without this book of eternity, you won't be much of a challenge. Merlin's face became serious all of a sudden. How do you know all this, mortal? Did Morgaine send you here for this book? I work for no one. Let's just say that I need this book for something. Hearing that he seemed relieved, use it. Do you want to learn the spells written inside? That book is full of chaos and demonic spells. I had this book for a long time. Still, I could not decipher and learn all of it. So I tell you it's futile. Just keep it back and search for something else. Merlin explained to me patiently in a sage voice. I do not need to learn them. Would you agree with me that an artifact's master would know its every secret? He looks at me puzzled at my abrupt question. I take out a rock from my storage. Do you know what this stone is? Philosopher's Stone. Merlin exclaimed, seeing the rock. That rock is very impressive, but it won't help you with the book. He gets back his composure, while still looking at that rock, probably remembering the days of his past. I keep the mace back in my storage. We will see. I manipulate my aura and use my heat vision on my right palm to create a deep enough gash so it doesn't heal fast. Merlin just stares at me wide-eyed, seeing me shoot lasers out of my eyes. You are not human, are you? I ignored him. I felt a bit of pain, but I could also feel an itch in my palm. Knowing that the wound has started to heal itself, I keep my bloody palm upon the golden mark on the book's cover. I start reading a chant in an ancient tongue. Blood magic, Merlin says while caressing his beard again, while waiting for the spell to fail. As the chant ends, I place the Philosopher's Stone on the book too. Dinib 8 Etenrate Kub Ot M. The book starts to shine with my blood being absorbed in the golden mark, and then it hovers mid-air. Merlin watches by the side, stunned with this development. The book opens automatically and the pages start turning, while it gets enveloped in a red aura. As the last page comes and the book closes, the red aura gets absorbed within, and the book flies towards me, disappearing as it touches my right palm. Impossible. Did you become the Eternity Book's master? But the current owner is still alive. How did you do it? Merlin asks, still not believing what he just saw. I could feel the connection with the book. It fed a lot of information in my brain too, but I did not have the time right now to understand it. With a thought, the book appears in my right hand. It's the same overall, just it shows my face and the golden mark on the book. It's because you do not know the origins of the Philosopher's Stone, old man. I tell him while keeping the stone back in the storage and making the book disappear again. Merlin thinks about something deeply, but then just shakes his head. Do you know why I kept that scimitar here with this book? So that only a pure-hearted person can remove it and get the book with it too. As the book will corrupt its user, it will feed on your every dark impulse, every dark thought, and make you act on it. Merlin tells me gravely, the only way to get rid of that is to keep a very powerful mental barrier and shield your thoughts from the book. I had to leave the book here, as it had started to corrupt my mind too. But you are its master now. Unless you give the book to someone else, you will always stay connected to it. Merlin looks at me with sympathy. I have my own ways. I wave my hand at him, until we meet again. Gandalf, seeing me go above ground. He starts disappearing too. It's Merlin, not Gandalf. I go back to the fortress and meditate. While trying to follow Torquaz and Vaux's teachings, I also start to arrange the new knowledge inside my head. After half a day, I had browsed through all the knowledge of the book and had found what I was looking for. I check and see that the sunstone will still need a day to completely absorb the radiation from the rock. Feeling a bit impatient, I go for the target in Africa early. I started searching for a collapsed underground cavern, mainly in the upper western part of Africa, where several millennia ago in around 5000 BC, there was a legendary African empire of Kor. As I did not know the exact place, I had to search underneath every inch of land. While doing the scan, my mind wandered to the prior happenings. The Eternity Book was made by the Archduke of Hell, Belial. He is a very powerful immortal demon. He is also the son of the celestial conqueror, Trigon. Now Belial once invaded the land of the powerful serpent queen Ranvadath inside Hell. After their army's mutual massacre, they both copulated on their corpses. The serpent queen tried to kill Belial after, but was subdued by him and brought back to his palace. She gave birth to his first child, Etrigan. Etrigan was increasingly wild, and even the ruler of Hell, Lucifer, commanded Belial to control his offspring. But Belial couldn't punish Etrigan with beatings as he enjoyed the pain. Once Etrigan tricked Belial into mating with a gorgeous goddess who was originally only an animal spirit, but Etrigan had put a glamour charm on her. Later he finds out, as he sees his second son born a goat, Belial grew angry and killed the animal spirit in anger. He went away from hell for many years, and came back with his third son Merlin, who was born from a powerful human witch, hoping that Merlin would subjugate Etrigan. Yes, Merlin is half demon and Etrigan is his half-brother. Eventually Merlin did enslave Etrigan, and bound him to a mortal, Jason Blood. Now during the conception of Merlin, Belial's seed was spilled on a rock. Due to the surrounding magic, a link was created between Belial and the stone, and hence Philosopher's Stone was created accidentally from sympathetic magic. There were many powerful stones created in DC verse which will take the name of the Philosopher's Stone, but this is the most powerful one, as it has a direct link to Belial's magic. Philosopher's Stone also has the magical property of providing good luck, immense magic, and could even transmute objects by just holding it. The Eternity Book allowed the wielder to cast magic, and had the profound magical knowledge of Belial recorded within. But as Merlin said, it was made by Belial the demon, and hence it will try to corrupt the user's mind. While I was reading the books in the library of House of Mystery with Satana, I found a blood ritual. It was basically a ritual to change ownership of an artifact. It needed an object which was linked to the previous owner and the blood of the new owner. The stronger the link between the object and the previous owner, the easier it is to sever the bond with the artifact. As Philosopher's Stone was created from sympathetic magic by Belial, the ritual succeeded easily. Now I need the last link in my plan. I found the cavern, drilled inside it, and came in front of a mirror. There were fallen rocks everywhere inside this cavern, but the mirror reflected my face perfectly with no dust on it. It was just hanging on the cavern wall. It had a golden frame with strange designs engraved, and gave off a very antique feeling. As I touched the mirror, a purple-haired tanned woman suddenly appeared in the mirror. She had transparent blue eyes with no iris in it. She had a very odd black tattoo on her chest, which extended down to her impressive cleavage, which was visible in her low-cut black dress. Oh, at last someone finally came to my rescue. Release me, and I swear I will serve you for eternity. The woman looked incredibly happy seeing me, and I felt like she was speaking with all her sincerity. She had a unique accent to her voice, which sounded very pleasant to hear. Before I could answer her, the mirror returned to normal, and she disappeared. I touched it again, but the mirror did not respond. Feeling strange, like someone was watching me, I looked back at the new arrival. He was clad in black from head to toe. Black hat, black overcoat, black shirt, black undershirt, black gloves, black pants, black boots, black eye mask. The only thing which struck out was the shiny pieces of round silver, which were attached together and fashioned around his neck like a necklace. I counted there were 30 in total. He looked like he was in his 30s, but I knew that he was old, very old as Jesus Christ. I had a strange thought in my head of why today all the old people were getting in my way. You cannot release her, my friend. You may not know about her, but I can tell you that she is an evil demoness and a mistress from hell. He spoke in a very deep, gruff voice. And did that voice inside your head tell you to stop me? Phantom stranger. He goes silent for a moment. No, it did not. But it's good that you know of me. I have fought her for a long time and stopped her and her evil plans every time. So it's best if she is kept imprisoned here. Then without that voice's order, you cannot directly interfere with my actions, I say, as the Eternity Book appears in my right hand. Shinab me. The book glows red, and before he could speak anything, he disappears from this place. So long, strange guy. Today must be my very lucky day, as I just met the most powerful being in the universe. I think we might even become friends after today. Phantom stranger, even in the comics none of his origins or powers were ever explained properly. All I know is that he was the friend of Jesus Christ, and he betrayed him for 30 silver coins. Afterward, he felt guilty of causing Jesus' death and committed suicide. But he was sent back and cursed to roam this land, and follow the voice inside his head, which apparently belongs to the creator of the universe. It is said that the robe he wears belonged to Jesus and is the source of his power. He is a protector of sorts of the cosmic balance of the universe. But without the voice's command, he is just a simple wizard and can be banished easily, or maybe even killed. The book disappeared from my hands and I took out the nth metal mace and struck the mirror, destroying it in a blow. The mirror was a very powerful entrapment item, but I do not know any other way to release her, except destroying the mirror. The destroyed pieces come together and after a white light, All I see is the beautiful woman standing in front of me. That hateful phantom stranger. Good thing, Master, you were so powerful, or else I won't be able to get released ever, the woman says while seductively walking towards me. She comes close to me and takes one hand of mine between her chest and traces my chest with the other. You freed me, Master. I do not know how long I have been trapped in that hateful mirror. You have my eternal gratitude, Master, and I, Tala, the demoness from hell, will serve my powerful master loyally. I enjoy her bountiful chest and take her chin in my hand and trace my thumbs over her lips. So Tala, you will be my slave from now on? She squirms and rubs her body rhythmically on my free hand. Yes, Master, I can do anything you say. Can this slave know her powerful master's name? I dive in and taste her dark purple lips. Greedily sucking them and rolling my tongue over hers, she responds with the same passion. After a while we break, and she licks her lips, tempting me even more. Your master's name is Superman. You really mean anything? Then take off your robe and show your body to your master. I tell her, and take a step back. Yes, Master, she says. And with a wave of her hand, her robe disappears completely. I look at the book in my right hand, which disappears with a thought, understanding what happened just now. I told Tala that it was enough, and she should clean herself now. Listening to my order, she conjured a ball of water, and covered my member in it then. With a wave of her hand, it was clean now, and even dried. I was impressed by her usage of magic. I wore my skin suit back and tried not to look at her too much right now, as I could see that she had wanted to continue. Apparently demons have quite the stamina. But I had my mind elsewhere. She cleaned herself similarly, and even rinsed her mouth. And with a wave of her hand, the same black robe hid her fantastic body from my view. She was wearing crystal earrings right now, which looked good on her. I held her by the waist and told her that we were going home. She seemed excited to see the outside world again. I slowed down my speed so she could appreciate the sights more. Tala was a demoness of the hell plane. She was imprisoned at an unknown time by a very mighty ancient sorcerer named Felix Faust, whose first appearance was recorded here in Africa in 5000 BC. He was mad for power, and had sold his body, soul, and everything numerous times to numerous powerful, begins to gain a new height of power, and is known for his trickery and deceit. One time as he died, he asked Tala to save his soul from going to hell in exchange for becoming her slave. Tala saved his soul and trapped him in that mirror, but she got tricked by him and accidentally reversed their positions. He left her at the cavern for a very long time. Eventually, she would have been freed by Gorilla Grodd, and she would have taken him as her master in gratitude. Luthor would eventually defeat Grodd, and Tala, seeing him neglect her, would have changed her master to Luthor, who eventually would sacrifice her for his plan. I wonder how Grodd freed her, and if the Phantom Stranger appeared to stop him too. Now that both of them are not going to be able to free her, one is dead and the other would never gain his power. I had planned to take her in and help me out with my plan. My initial plan was just to take her word for it, as her gratitude seemed genuine. But I think I had overestimated my Kryptonian brain or vastly underestimated the Eternity book. Merlin was right, but it didn't feel like corruption when I was at the moment. It felt like I was more active, like I was acting upon my selfish impulses without a second thought. Like the enthrallment spell I used from the book doesn't just enslave someone for eternity. It also amplifies the feeling of loyalty and love that the slave holds for the master. I can also feel her position and state if I want any time. It had many requirements, but holding the book bypassed almost all of them, and in the end, all it needed was a unique brand of the master on the servant's body, and the master's seed inside the slave as a catalyst for the spell. Still, the spell could fail if the slave rejects the master strongly, as then it won't work. So it wasn't all powerful. After seeing the mark, even after understanding that this all happened because of the book, I still didn't feel wrong. Like I know that I crossed some line, but I felt this to be the best outcome. Now I get why in the future the Turkish superheroine Selma Tolon could use the book without any side effects. She was a doctor for the Red Crescent organization, and hence was very brave, noble, and pure-hearted. She would fall in that ruins in an earthquake, and remove the scimitar of Suleiman from the ground, which was an artifact enchanted by Merlin it could produce, and throw mystic fire. She would then get the book too. She would go on to become a role model for Muslim women. As she probably never had any dark impulses, the book couldn't affect her. I need to get those mental powers fast, as I can't tell if I am still under its influence or not. I should probably not use the book for a while too. While answering all the questions of Tala, we reached the fortress. She didn't seem to feel the cold even in this atmosphere. She was stopped by the force field of the fortress. I spoke to my father to let her in. I made a room for her in the fortress. I asked her if she would need any furniture, and she said that she would just meditate mostly so won't be needing any. I showed her the Eternity book. She was so impressed that she started kneading her body onto me again lovingly, which resulted in another quick session. After that, I showed the book and explained it to her what I wanted. She told me to give her some time and started meditating cross-legged while hovering in mid-air. I checked to see that there were still more than 8 hours remaining for the complete extraction. Tala came to me after 2 hours, in which I tried meditating but I couldn't reach theta state, and I don't think regular meditation would have much effect on me. She said that she can procure most ingredients from her personal space, but among them, 2 were hard to find. First being the blood of a very high demon. Best would be that it was a demon lord's blood. Gotham City. It was 7 o'clock and inside an apartment, a man was standing in front of a large collection of books. He was going through what looked like an old leather-bound black book. From his face, he looked to be in his mid-30s. He was wearing a green blazer, a black shirt, and brown pants. His hair was red, with a white streak in the middle. He had a noble air around him. Even while reading, he had his back straight. The apartment was filled with various odd things. Everything looked ancient. But the most eye-catching was the large bookshelf which was stacked with numerous books. Hearing the doorbell ring, he places the book on the side table and goes to the door. Through the keyhole, he sees a young man wearing a red shirt looking through the hole directly at him. He opens the door. Jason Blood? I am here for a friend of yours. Before he could ask who he was talking about, he hears a spell. Tuk midni eknart. Seeing him affected by my magic, I carry him to the fortress and tell Tala to get ready. I let him stand in the middle of the icy wilderness, a bit farther away from the fortress. Not worrying about him freezing to death, I look at Tala, who is floating some distance away, and nod at her. I take a deep breath and direct my spell towards him. Taper Retva. I look at the man in front of me who is working as a demonologist in Gotham City. He is immortal through the bond he shares with the demon, but his life is pitiful as when he will speak the chant, the demon will take his place here, and he will have to go to hell to suffer until their positions are again reversed. As I start speaking the chant, he repeats after me. The words come out of his mouth, but the sound is amplified and a bit hoarse like it's not him speaking. Gone, gone, the form of man. Rise, the demon. Etrigan. Suddenly Jason disappears and in a flash of fire in place of him is a yellow-skinned monster. He had scales all over his body. He had fish fins for his ears, sharp long yellow nails. He had very small yellow horns on his bald head. His mouth had animalistic sharp teeth. He was wearing a red leotard, which showed his muscles clearly with a blue cape. He looked at me with his red eyes which had no iris within, and even if he was just standing there hunched like he was ready to pounce, I could tell he was pissed. I see him opening his mouth and releasing a large amount of fire. And suddenly, even in this cold North Pole in front of me, is a sea of fire, which is quickly advancing towards me. I inhale deeply, filling my lungs to the brim and release the air straight out. I see myself making a large pressure difference in the air, and the end result is what looks like me spitting ice from my mouth. I then quickly quench the fire with my freeze breath. He brings both his palms in front of his mouth and blows fire on it. He clenches his fists holding the fire in it, and then he brings them apart, creating a line of fire connecting both his fists. Once more, with words of nature's rhyme, comes Etrigan the Slayer, just in time. I see that the line of fire changes into a broadsword in his right hand. Before he could attack, I fly to him and punch him in the gut, making him lose his balance. I keep raining punches down to him faster than he could blink and sweep his legs to make him fall. I sit on his chest with my knees on both of his arms, making him release his sword, which disappears in flames. I keep hitting his face with all my strength. His skin and scales were very hard. I felt like I was punching a mud wall. And even while taking this beating, I could see him smiling sadistically like he was enjoying the pain. But I wanted to draw blood and not use him as a punching bag. I stop for a second to take the scimitar out of my storage, but at that moment, I see him direct both his palms towards me, even from underneath my knees, and shooting ice from them. I rapidly draw back, his hands free. He pounces at me and punches me in my chest. I think it was the right decision to not give him a chance to attack from the start of the fight. In comics, Etrigan once punches Superman, and he is sent directly to the moon just from a punch. At that moment I concentrated my aura to strengthen around my chest, leaned back a bit, and even put my body in a relaxed state so that the force is distributed. The result was I took his punch, and did not budge a bit, but it still hurt like hell. My eyes start getting hot, and I use my heat vision on his chest and he gets thrown back in the air. Through the long gashes on his chest, blood came out which started flowing in the air like a river. Etrigan stands up and notices Tala a distance away using magic to attract his blood. He spouts fire from his mouth in her direction, but I come in front of him and take the whole brunt it head on. I feel the heat but my aura and body protect me. I give him an uppercut shutting his mouth through the fire. Now that I have his blood, there was no point in continuing this fight, so I tried using magic on him, but nothing seemed to work. Seeing no other choice, the red-colored Eternity book appears in my hand. I use a spell in demon language to take control over Etrigan's body, and now he will have to do whatever I do. Still, even with the book, I could feel him resisting my control. So I speak aloud fast and so does he. The battle now is fought and won. Jason Blood with me is done. As soon as Etrigan speaks that in his monstrous voice, he disappears in flames, and Jason Blood is found on the ground. I go ahead and put him to sleep with a spell. I tell Tala to go to the fortress and begin preparation. I drop him back to his apartment in Gotham and return. I ask Tala, who is preparing some stuff, what the second ingredient is. She doesn't exactly answer my question but tells me that today would be a full moon, so at midnight in like 2 hours would be the best time for what I want to do. She asks to let her finish her preparations first. I check the extraction and see that there are 4 hours remaining. When I brought her here, I had a talk with Tala, that as my slave she can't spread chaos now, or do the things she did before. I also told her my plan to be a superhero in the future, and she would be at my side helping me. She agreed readily, saying that all she wants to do is serve me. I think she is not telling me the second ingredient, as the way to procure it may not be morally right. As it reaches close to midnight, she brings me outside the fortress and with her magic manipulates the clouds so that a clear moon could be seen. She then tells me the second ingredient. Hearing what it is, my brain goes blank, and then a thought arises in my mind. Before I could think more about it, I tell Tala to finish the preparations fast as I go and bring the last ingredient. New York City. In a wealthy part of town, a 16-year-old boy was sleeping in his bed. He was shivering, probably because he was having strange dreams about battles and creatures he had never seen before. In that dream, he suddenly sees the face of a woman with wings which calms him down and his body relaxes. This was almost an every night occurrence for him. But tonight was different, as silently the window opens and from it a shadow flashes in. In the dark room, that shadow goes up to the boy and chants. A spell then picks him up, going out of the window, closing it behind. I brought the boy to the fortress, covering him with my aura. He was still asleep because of my spell and his nightclothes. Just seeing him smile in his sleep, probably dreaming about her again, just made me more convinced of my choice. Tala had created a whole circular array on the ice with Etrigan's blood, and placed various plants and organs of various creatures inside it. She explained to me the things which she changed, and how this ritual is different from the one that I know. She told me that we both would have to take part in it. As this ritual is almost in the category of reality manipulation, we both would be needing a great source of magic. I gave her my amulet of first magic, as this was somewhat of a wish-granting ritual, and the one who had to visualize his wish needed to use the Eternity book as his magic source. Tala was the one who would be conducting the ritual, as she has mastery in both chaos and demon magic, more so as this was a custom ritual, that she changed according to my requirements from the one in the Eternity book. To grant my wish, she placed the sleeping boy in the middle of the ritual array, and I kept the Philosopher's Stone as a catalyst and a centerpiece in this array, so it won't collapse during the ritual, as there will be a massive flux of magic used. Tala came out of the array and held my hand. She started the chant in the demonic language. The amulet started glowing purple with a great amount of magic being called. I closed my eyes, cleared my mind, and made the image of what I wanted clearer. The ritual array started glowing red, and even the ground started shaking. The sky remained eerily clear, only the moonlight almost seemed to get sucked in the array, making it way darker around. As the clock struck 12, the array started shrinking, and it started consuming everything that was kept inside. In my hand, the Eternity book had started glowing red, and my mind started growing a bit fuzzy, but I kept the thought of what I want clear. The magic moved from the book into my brain and through my hand in Tala's body, where it mixed with the amulet's magic, and Tala controlled all of this, and sent it to the array through her chants. The array got to the sleeping boy and wrapped around his body. His body started getting absorbed as the array shrank even more. In the end, his body fully disappeared, and the array was now a sphere in which a white light was pulsing. I could feel everything even if I was concentrating on my wish. I said goodbye to the white light, to the soul of Carter Hall. His soul will be sacrificed for this ritual, and it will disappear forever. As the array swallowed the white light, every magic user on the earth and around could feel that someone just succeeded in completing a grand magic ritual. I opened my eyes and heaved a long sigh, feeling happy that the ritual was a success. The ritual to hide my real identity of Clark Kent. How to hide my identity was one of my biggest worries while growing up. In comics, Clark was very timid, easily bullied, and a forgettable existence in school. He was an introvert, and thus for almost everyone in Kansas town he was invisible. The same Clark persona is kept when he works as a reporter on the Daily Planet. Initially, even Lois hated Clark, as she considered him weak and pathetic, even questioning if he was a man. This contrast was the real reason, not his glasses, why his identity was a secret. Once Luthor programmed a highly intelligent AI to find his real identity, and when Clark Kent came as the result, he refused to believe it, and thought there was some problem with his program. It was because he could never accept such a powerful godlike man to be acting timid, shy, weak, and even went to work on a low-tier daily job to just hide his identity. But I wanted to enjoy my superhero, as well as daily life, so that kind of life was never an option for me. In a world of the internet and magic, hiding your identity, especially if both your personas are famous, can be very difficult. As the star quarterback, my face was pasted on the newspapers, people knew about me in my school, I was even friendly with many people in Kansas. So I had decided that if anything can provide me the way out, then it should be magic. Why I wanted to hide my identity was clear in my head. To protect the people close to me, and to enjoy a normal daily life when I am not going out as a superhero. I knew that this kind of ritual should be present in the Eternity book at least. And I did find one, but it was a high-level magic ritual which could conceal anything or anyone the caster wanted. What I wanted was a bit different. I wanted to conceal my identity. So even if someone had a picture of me as Superman and another of Clark Kent side by side, he wouldn't be able to figure out my identity. I wanted even the best technology to fail at finding a connection between Superman and Clark Kent. Only when I reveal my identity to them could they know. So I wanted to change and customize the ritual a bit. But even if I knew all the knowledge of the Eternity book when I became its master, I had no experience in chaos and demon magic. That's where Tala came in, as she was a master in both of them. And she didn't disappoint. She changed it and made it into a grand concealment ritual. As it was affecting everyone for an indefinite amount of time and even was changing their thoughts a bit so that they could never find out my real identity. It was almost reality-altering magic. So the amount of magic used for the ritual, from both my Book of Eternity and Amulet of First Magic, and even a small amount from the Philosopher's Stone, was justified. The blood of a demon, preferably demon lords, used for making the array, which was Etrigan in this case, was also justified. The sacrifice of a very high-level human soul, preferably very old. I chose Carter Hal, who would become Hawkman in the future, and will be a pain, and would even continue harassing Hawkgirl, who I have already considered mine. So it was also justified? But he wasn't a villain, and can be considered even a hero. More so that he was just an innocent 16-year-old boy right now. I know that this should feel wrong. I should feel even guilty. But why do I still feel that this was the best outcome? I look at the book again in my hand. I still can't tell if my thoughts are being corrupted or not. 2 more hours and I would know. Anyways, it has happened already. Now I can live my life as Clark Kent without worry. And my future plans will be easier to implement. There are some limitations to even such a powerful ritual, like if someone or something uses more magic than the combined magic of what I used for this ritual, then he can find my identity. But I doubt someone would go to that extent. I sure hope they do not. Master, I am sorry, but I think I used almost all the magic in the amulet you gave me. Tala hands me the amulet. I take it and look at the dim purple gem, and I could feel that there was only a small amount of magic remaining in it. I should stop relying on these items for magic and try to find a solution for it soon enough. I still wear the amulet, as it could still work for some time. Tala starts to clear all traces of the ritual, and even goes as far as absorbing the residual magic. She explained to me that rituals of such scale, especially one in which chaos and demonic magic were used, will alarm many beings, and they could be trying to locate our location. Just then I hear Jor-El tell me in my ear that John Zatara was calling. I tapped my ear twice, and the liquid geo changed to a wireless Bluetooth instantly. Hello, John. What happened? Why are you calling me such late at night? I look in his direction, and can see that he was standing outside his mansion in his magician's costume. She is coming, Clark. He sounded unusually serious. Who? Allura. She is coming for Zatanna right now. I opened the bedroom door, and sat beside her, watching her sleep peacefully. Her black hair shone even in this darkness, falling perfectly on her fair face. But my attention was grabbed by the deep valley formed by her unbuttoned shirt. I see past it, and I must say they have grown substantially. I lean down, kissing her red, tantalizing lips softly, and keep rubbing my tongue against her teeth in an effort to pry it open. Her jaw opened a bit, my tongue finding a way to hers. I lost myself in the sweet taste of her mouth, and she seemed to respond to me in her sleep perfectly. But I knew from her heartbeat that she was awake from the moment I opened her bedroom door, probably because of one of her magic alarms. After a while I stopped kissing her and could see she was breathing a bit heavily, but still she kept playing her "I am still asleep" farce. I thought after her first kiss taken by the prince, the sleeping beauty would wake up, I said while giving her lips another peck, making her eyelashes flutter a bit, but she kept her eyes closed. Maybe more than a kiss is needed to wake up the princess, I said while caressing her cheeks, then tracing my finger down her fair neck to the valley. She opens her eyes and catches my finger with her hand. You are getting increasingly bold, aren't you? Wait until I tell my dad how you sneaked into my bedroom in the middle of the night, she said while giving me a cute glare. Well, milady, your father was the one who told me to stay with you for the night, I said in a playful voice. You are kidding. He would never say that. You should understand, my dear Zatanna, that this is your father, giving his blessings to both of us. And does my father know about the others? Tell me, Clark, how would you rate our kiss? As you have so much experience already with Lana, Chloe, Selena, she said, expecting to see me flustered. But I have known about her spying on me for a very long time. Now that I am bound to the eternity book, she won't be able to enjoy her voyeur sessions. Your lips were so soft and the kiss was unforgettable. I think I will get addicted to your taste. Seeing me speak about it so freely, she goes bright red. I lean down again and kiss her, this time a bit more roughly. I see her close her eyes and respond passionately. I slip one of my hands in her shirt. She tries to struggle a bit. Her hands were exploring my body from underneath my shirt. As my other hand was going down from her waist to her pants, she grabbed it with her hand. After a while I could feel her body shaking. I deepened our kiss and pulled both of her nipples a bit, finishing her off. I sit back up, watching the incredibly beautiful girl panting in the bed. Seeing me, watching her so intently, she covers her face in bedsheets. Go now, let me sleep, she said from underneath it. What about me? I said, pointing at the visible bulge in my pants. It's your punishment for taking my first kiss when I was asleep, she said, still half covering her face. I knew you were awake the whole time. Anyways, John is going out for a very long trip, and so I will be taking care of you until his return, I said while grabbing the sheet and making her red face visible again. I am not a kid, I can take care of myself. Where is he going this time? And why didn't he inform me before? I will tell everything to you in time, Zatanna. Now go to sleep, or I might just not be able to control myself, I said, giving her a kiss again. Embarrassed, she waves her hand, pushing me out from her room, and the door locking itself. I sit on the sofa in the living room. John asked me to protect this place until he takes care of Allura. I look at the place they are battling at, and I have to say Allura, the black-haired extra-dimensional elemental entity, looked in her revealing clothes. I guess she was attracted to Earth by my ritual, but as she couldn't find the place, she went for her longtime target Zatanna. She was supposed to come when Zatanna grew 18 years old, but I guess there are always changes happening. John will seal her and get cursed in return, so it wasn't my problem anyway. I think she was after Zatanna to steal her magic or destiny, something like that. I guess the medulla gem which is growing inside Zatanna's head, which just like her mother is a part of her Homo Magi heritage, will be desirable for any magic user. I will wait for the fight to end, and then I can get my new mental powers. As I see Allura being trapped in a sword by Zatara, I leave the mansion and go back to the fortress. As I reach my base, I get John's call, telling me that he defeated Allura, but as she was being trapped, she used her magic to place a powerful curse on him. And now if he sees, hears, talks, or gets in touch with his family, which will be Zatanna in this case, directly or indirectly they both will die. So he will be going to another dimension to find her other counterpart, the good Allura, and maybe she could remove this curse. I reassured him that I will take proper care of Zatanna, and will protect her at all costs. Tala was meditating in her room. I knew that as a demoness of hell her power comes from chaos magic, so the more chaos she brings the stronger she gets. But now as my slave, she will have to gather her magic the regular way. I asked Jor-El about the meteor, and he told me that the sunstones are ready and stored in my non-magical item storage room. I go there and see both of them stored in different vaults. With my aura, I lift the mind power one which was yellow colored, and bring it into the meditation room, which, for now, was just an empty room. The sunscreen crystals activate in different ways. This one will activate fully as you touch it. I sit cross-legged on the ground, and grab it with my hand. It glows bright yellow for a second, and my mind goes blank. Suddenly I feel like the world became clearer, my thoughts became clearer. Even just thinking about the things I read from the Kryptonian database, I find that I have a whole new understanding and perspective of it. I even found a black dark blob-like thing in my head, but I could tell it was not there in my skull, more so what it was in, was my mindscape. I focused on it, and I could see it resisting back. I focused more, wishing to destroy it, and I see it get crushed, making it disappear. I guess that was the corruption that was growing in my head. I go on to test that I can move things with my mind, and I was getting better rapidly with more practice. I made the crystal float in front of me and kept it back in the vault. I then went to my room where there was a very comfortable bed made of liquid geo. I concentrated on Tala, who was meditating in her room, and tried to give her a mental message to come to me. She opened her eyes surprised and came to my room. As she came into my room, I could hear her thoughts. I tried to talk to her mentally and can feel that I could establish a telepathic connection between both of us. Maybe with more practice, I can even use a mental psionic blast. Tala was very happy with my new powers, and I could also read her thoughts about how she was still horny from performing the ritual. I guess demons are weird, but I also started getting horny remembering about my session with Zatanna. I picked her up with my mind and brought her to my side on my bed. We proceeded to go at it non-stop for hours. Mostly I wanted to vent, distract myself from what I had done. As I had started to feel guilty about it now, and was disgusted at how I even felt a bit of gratitude for the book, as I may have never accepted that sacrifice thing as easily. But seeing the S mark on Tala's lower back while she was still shouting Master made me realize that I have to own up to what I have done and live with it. In the morning, I left the exhausted Tala to sleep in my bed, and went to Vienna. I felt refreshed walking down the streets of this beautiful city. I entered an antique shop and asked the old shop owner if he had some antique sword which he could show me. He brought me to the back room where inside a barrel there were many swords kept. I picked a sword that was relatively new looking with a purple grip and a very reflective small mirror-like pommel. The old man told me he never knew that he had such a sword lying around. I looked at him and decided to test my new abilities. I concentrated on him and wished that he would give this to me for free, as this was probably not his shop's product. He tells me just that, with a smile, and even follows me out to the exit. I go out, keep the sword in my storage, and fly back. So that confirms it. That I do have mind control powers too. I put the sword in the magical item storage room. This sword is the sword of Paracelsus. All I know about it is that Paracelsus was a physician in the Middle Ages, and this sword belonged to him. Why it is also such a powerful sealing magic artifact, no one knows. John used this sword last night to trap Allura, and then like an idiot he puts it in an antique store so that no one would find it. Zatanna would find it eventually, tracking John's magic scent to this sword. Allura would trick her into releasing her in exchange for telling his father's location, which she does. But now that she is in my hands, I will not just keep her as a decoration piece, but will use her immense magic in making a magical defensive shield for my fortress. Suddenly, Jor-El appears telling me that I have a call from Lena. I pick it up, and can hear her crying on the other side. "Clark, can you come here please? It's Dad, he died." I had to put all my plans on the side and go to Metropolis to be Lena's support. I didn't want to cause Lena any inconvenience, so I used my new powers to make the bodyguard let me in and then a maid to accompany me. I went inside her mansion all the way to her bedroom to see her lying in her bed crying on a pillow. I dismissed the maid and told her to not let anyone disturb us. Seeing me, she rushed to me and started bawling her eyes out. I rubbed her back and could hear her thoughts of relief in seeing me. "Clark, am I cursed? I got adopted into their family and my adopted brother died in an accident, and now father died of a heart attack. It must be my fault." I make her lift her face and wipe her tears off with my hands and then stare into her beautiful green eyes. "Lena, listen to me, it's not your fault. People die, accidents happen. It's nobody's fault. And I don't know about anyone else, but after every kiss from you, I feel very lucky," I tell her, while kissing her lips softly. She giggles a bit but goes sad again. "But even Dad is gone now. I am an orphan again. Alone in this world again." Her green eyes start tearing up. I take her hand in mine and entangle our fingers. "You are not alone, I am here, Lena. As your strength, as your support, as your shoulder to cry on. So you can rely on me. I will never let you go, I will always be with you. I tell her while caressing her smooth brown hair. Oh, Clark. She starts kissing me with passion, like she wants to melt in me. She starts removing my shirt. I too started taking her clothes off. I could hear her thoughts of how she needs this, how she just wants to forget all the pain, all the stress of the things like the company which she would have to take charge of. All the loneliness she is feeling right now and just enjoy this precious moment with me. We find ourselves on her large pink bed, and I look down at the brown-haired beauty. Lena told me that there was a funeral in the evening where all the big wigs will be present. And then tomorrow there will be the company meeting where she will take the ownership of LexCorp. She wanted me to be by her side through all of this. She didn't trust anyone. She didn't even feel safe inside the house. The people left behind by her father were afraid of him, and that's why they listened to him, but who would listen to a 16-year-old girl? I let her sleep and reassured her that everything will go smoothly now that I am here. And for her permanent help, I would find someone suitable to be her personal bodyguard and assistant. I left the mansion and went to the suicide slum, a very dangerous part of Metropolis City. I went into an alley, where there were 7 average-looking women with dirty clothes listening attentively to a relatively better-dressed, fair-skinned 20-year-old brown-haired woman, who was explaining her plan to rob someplace tonight. I placed an illusory barrier at the entrance so no one could find this alley. Seeing me come in, one of them points a gun towards me and tells me to piss off. I just chuckle and keep walking leisurely. She looks back at the brown-haired woman, who nods at her. The girl with the gun comes towards me, ready to bash my face in with the base of her gun. I swipe her feet and give her neck a tap, making her fall down on the street unconscious. Seeing one of them on the ground, all the women point their gun at me. Before the brown-haired woman could say something, I go ahead and make everyone except her lie down on the ground unconscious, and then appear near her. She backs off a bit while pointing her gun at me, but I quickly take her gun from her hand, then take the magazine out. And in front of her eyes, I put the gun in my palm, and then clench, breaking it off with my bare hands. I then proceed to show the deformed metal to her. I can hear her fearful thoughts, but as I take a step towards her, she still tries to kick my face. I easily hold her leg in my hands and take another step forward. She punches me on the chest, and I just shrug it off. She was wearing a t-shirt and jeans. I look at her black eyes expecting terror, but even if her thoughts are fearful, her eyes showed defiance and fearlessness. I look back at her, and she doesn't even wince because of the pain and just gives me a defiant stare again. She takes the initiative to kiss me. Tell me your name, I whisper in her ears. Mercy, Mercy Graves. She whispers, trying to hold back her moans. A beautiful and strong woman like you doesn't belong here, Mercy. I am taking you away from here, away from poverty, away from pain, away from stealing, away from this dark place. I will be giving you a proper job, a proper place to live, give you money, respect, everything. Mercy, I will be changing your whole life and destiny from today on. I tell her. Mercy starts crying, and I could hear from her thoughts that she is questioning if such a good thing is possible. She is remembering all her years spent here in the slums, how hard it was for a girl to survive, how she looted, killed, and got increasingly merciless with time, never even thinking about a possible way out of this place. And now a guy comes beating her crew, forcefully taking her dignity which she had tried so hard to protect over the years, and telling her that he will be taking her out from this hell to a better place. I kissed her again, and this time she had a renewed passion in her kiss and even started thrusting back with her waist. We go at it for some time, and then I come deep inside her. She was already a disheveled mess at this point. Say goodbye to this place forever, Mercy. I kiss her, and she kisses me back and then gives me a sweet smile, looking so beautiful with her black eyes, which now hold a belief for a better future. In the comics and animated series, Mercy Graves was the right hand of Lex Luthor. She had grown up in the slums, learned hand-to-hand combat, kickboxing, and gunfighting. From the streets, she was the leader of a gang of women thieves who I just beat, and would eventually be caught stealing Lex's suitcase by his bodyguards. Taking a liking to her, Lex would bring her with him. Mercy will become Lex's driver, bodyguard, assistant, and would even become his proxy in running LexCorp when he wasn't around. Lex used to abuse and beat Mercy constantly, which she returned with her utmost blind loyalty towards him. I gave her my clothes to wear, which I took out of the storage stealthily. After watching her wear the shirt which was too tight for her, and jeans which hugged her perfectly, I was getting hard again. I go ahead and grab her with force, making her moan a bit. If I couldn't read her thoughts, I wouldn't be able to tell by her exterior that she was such a submissive. After that forceful session, she now sees me as her superior. Now that Lex is no more, it's my responsibility to guide her well. I bring her inside the manor and order the maids to clean her up and dress her in black clothes for the evening. I go and wake Lena up telling her that I found a woman to be with her, and she could personally manage her from now on. She was skeptical but trusted me enough. We dressed up, me wearing her father's old black suit and she was wearing a black dress. In the meantime, I called Zatanna, who just said she was busy trying out a new spell she had read, and told me not to disturb her. I still think she was just being shy. I will know when I visit her tomorrow. We met with Mercy, who now looked like a proper bodyguard with a black pencil skirt and heels with a black blouse and black jacket on it. I introduced them both, and told them to get acquainted after the event. Lena had her whole mind occupied with the funeral, and was not questioning any of my decisions. We reached the place and people were surprised by Lena being accompanied by a young man. The event was a bore. Lena cried a lot, and introduced me to several people. I was reading their thoughts to see if any of them were an immediate threat to Lena, but most of them believed that LexCorp would fall on its own in the hands of a 16-year-old girl. I also met Lucius Fox, the acting CEO of Wayne Enterprises. He was a smart black man. The only problem was the people on the LexCorp board, but I would deal with them tomorrow. After the event I took her back to the manor. Mercy remained as a silent bodyguard behind us the whole time. I left both of them, as I wanted them to have some private time, and returned to the fortress to complete testing my new powers. But Lena called me in the middle of the night saying she couldn't sleep and I had to go to placate her. After 2 rounds she went to sleep, and I visited Mercy in her room to go for another 3 rounds telling her that she did a good job today. Next day in the board meeting, which I and Mercy were allowed to attend on Lena's request. Hearing their thoughts I knew this would not be easy. So I just mind-controlled them, feeding them the idea to support Lena fully, as I didn't have time for office politics. I told Lena after the meeting what I did. She was a bit angry at me first, but when I told her what they were thinking, and how it would have affected her and LexCorp, she accepted. I did have to repeatedly reassure her that I would never use it on people close to me. We had a talk about changing the company's name to Luthor Corp now, and how I would like her to not sell Daily Planet as well as all other media companies they own. We also had a talk about my plans for the future and how Lena could help me. I knew she was trained to run a company and was a very smart girl, so I left her to her business and returned to the fortress. I had several projects that needed my attention. The first was the defense of the fortress. I wanted to perfect it both magically and technologically. I wanted to develop a cloaking device too for the fortress and the ship. Maybe implement it in a suit too. Then I had to raid the nearby systems and planets for Kryptonian and other alien techs. I had to build new custom suits too for the future. Studying my genes and to find out how to better my body through the codex was also on the list. I found out the Kryptonians had almost no data for any magic or magitech, so taking over Atlantis just went up in my priority. But now, it was time to go visit my cute magician tonight. Magitech, so taking over Atlantis just went up in my priority. But now, it was time to go visit my cute magician tonight.
And that concludes this episode. If you enjoyed it, I'd seriously love it if you guys could leave a like on the video, as it genuinely helps out so much, and it keeps me going, plus it takes only 1 second. That said, have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.